very possible that we might be about to embark on the largest podcast that I've ever recorded. Usually, when we do E3, we do multiple parts. We got time for that this time.
Well,
there's no time.
The issue is E3 is usually a very organized event.
Yes.
This was the moment of no man's land.
Yes.
Where everybody's like, it's my turn. No, it's my turn. And it's funny to me because everybody was like, E3's dead, but they all still decided to do it all
right
at once.
now. Yes, exactly.
For, you could have fucking
Man,
divided that shit.
Capcom, if you're going to do a conference where you don't announce jack shit, could you wait like 3 weeks to do it so I don't have to talk about the jack shit that you announce? Anyway, where are we going to talk about the jack shit that got announced? Right here on the Rage Select podcast on Rage Select Top.
And I have not been killed by Jason Murphy.
No. But the beef. I
will not apologize for my Spider-Man
We
knowledge.
cannot talk about the beef. We've got too much to talk about. There are no intros. There are no movies. There are no TV shows. You should watch. I think you should leave season 3. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Also, the new Transformers is actually pretty good.
I'm going to talk about I'll talk about the driving crooner at some point later in the future, but not today because we've got Microsoft, we've got Starfield, we've got Ubisoft, we've got Capcom, we've got the Microsoft extended demos that I did actually watch.
I watched part of it.
We've got the PC gaming show that I watched 80% of, and then when I was going back, I was like, where was this trailer? And it was like, oh, right, like 8 hours into the 15-hour show that they did with the stupid fucking mind-numbing jokes in between. We're not going to talk about all the PC gaming show, but we're going to try to hit all the rest, and let's go. Let's go!
I didn't even mention the Final Fantasy 16 thing.
There's
a lot of gameplay.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make a new rule here on Rage Select. I don't give a shit because that game comes out next Friday. Like, there's no reason to keep selling me on it when it's like a week until it comes out. Like,
that's true. There's a demo out. That's all we'll say about it.
There's a demo. There's been a billion fucking directs and PlayStation Showcase, and here's the developer stuff. You made the case, boys. Like, you'd stop. Just fucking shut the hell up. Okay, Xbox. Let's go. Let's turn off my computer monitor because we don't need to hear that. So we started off with Fable, which I think we heard it was like a teaser last year for.
It was like 2 years ago, actually.
Oh, really?
It was an E3 that they did. They last even talked about there being a Fable.
Well, you know what's funny is that this one also. Well, wait. I thought I read a thing that said that actually everything in this in the trailer they put out is like in-game.
It's
like
in
footage in engine. Yeah,
that's the thing about it because it's still very much cutscene related shit.
Yeah,
especially since there's a giant Richard Iwata.
Yeah, it's a pretty good trailer. He's talking about how heroes are bullshit. Like agriculture is like
it's the future.
Is the future, and in between there's like a lot of tongue. It's very Shrek, right? Which is like what Fable is.
Yeah, the funnest things about Fable are when it's really silly, and that's what this trailer is.
Yeah. So then, yeah, at a certain point, they cut between him and this like lady hero doing hero stuff, and then eventually it becomes clear that he's the giant, and she's like climbed a beanstalk, and then they have a little action sequence. I mean, you know, the thing is, I'm very unclear about how to feel about this because I have never played a Fable game to completion.
Really?
I've played like the beginning of the Fable 1 remaster. I had an old roommate that played Fable 2, I think. Fable 3. It was really funny.
3 is the one that people don't like.
Or maybe in Fable 2. All I remember was that she was really mad because she was playing a lady character, and in order to like get like strong in that game, you had to eat food, and when she ate food, it made her character like this big bulky fucking lady.
Oh yeah.
And then I figured out that if you just shotgun celery, you could keep your stats, but it'll make your character really like skinny and feminine.
Well, that's the reason it won a PETA award.
What? Wait, what?
Because in Fable, I think it's 2. The Fable 2 won a PETA award.
Okay, the people for the ethical treatment. I'm sorry, I thought you said something different.
No,
and I was
not
confused.
like that.
Yes.
No, yeah, they won an award because the more you ate meat, your character became fat.
Yeah.
So the only way to get skinny was to just, like you said, down celery.
Right.
And so it was the idea was that meat is evil,
right,
quote unquote, and the celery is good. And so they won a PETA award for that. And I did actually play all the way through Fable 2, and that game was a lot of fun for all the terrible reasons.
Are you excited for this?
I'm interested in it because, like I said, it's silly. But the problem is, it doesn't show anything for me to do really,
right?
Because everything is looks like if it is a gameplay, it's all quick time event like stuff,
like kind of cutscene / QTE stuff.
Yeah, which wasn't really anything that was going on in that game. That game very much was just a normal like little running around RPG kind of thing that just happened to have weird choices and things that you could do to make people mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I made my character have sex with a random NPC in somebody else's house, and when it cut back, the entirety of that people living there were staring right at him with the police at hand.
So, I don't know, like, I'll be interested to see more. This is kind of like, I mean, you know... Right, like we classify. I feel like okay. I feel like here's the thing: when we talk about all these game shows, and even when we talk about today's game show, like you can classify gaming announcement / gaming trailers into like 3 different buckets. One is just like, here is a game that you didn't know existed, like just the announcement, like that Fable teaser. And then you've got this, which is like non-interactive style / story trailer, and those are usually fine. But at this point, like I'm 45 years old, I would like to see what the game actually looks like, which would be the third bucket of like, here's what this game actually is.
Yeah, and there's the issues that games take longer and longer to make now.
Yeah,
and so a lot of times they'll announce something, and it takes like 6 years to see anything half the time.
Yep.
But the same screenshot for Spider-Man 2 for 4 years.
I like, but I'll tell you, I did like what I saw here. I like the tone. So show me more, get me excited, guys. I'm on board. From there, we got another game that, again, is a hell of a style trailer, but like I don't know what this is.
I did an article on some of this game showcase, and so the website for Xbox had a little more information about it.
Okay.
And it was just talking about the idea of the fact that it's just it's a game that takes place in the Deep South.
Right.
And it's about a girl who, like, after she loses, like, her hometown's attacked by something, she goes and becomes, I forgot what it was called, but like she's just going around fighting mythical beings from South folklore is all it really said. And so I think that's interesting enough for what it is.
Yeah.
And I like its art style a lot, and I really want to see what it looks like once it's an actual game.
Yeah, because it's kind of got this like stop animated almost style to it, and then it's really striking where they've got this kind of like this big giant black zombie man playing the guitar, kind of singing like a folk tune, and then it's not clear at the beginning, but then eventually they zoom out and it turns out he's like giant. And he's like sitting on top of like a building.
And the crazy thing is her animation reminds me more of the way Arcane is animated on Netflix.
Yeah.
Where he looks more like a stop motion thing.
Yeah.
And it seems it's got this weird blend of things.
It definitely seems like kind of like Spider-Verse, kind of like we're using the animation style to like convey some
that
stuff.
Specific shading. But there's so much just like life in this one trailer.
Yeah.
That if this was just a show itself, I probably would watch this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I'm very intrigued. Like everybody, I'd like to see more. Because she also has, I don't remember the thing that she uses. It's like magic. It's like a spindle, like a
yeah. It's this little like charm spindle that like I guess she uses to activate something.
I mean, I've seen whatever it is that she's got. I feel like I've seen this thing before. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
It's like a crystal or something. It's like a voodoo.
But it looks
thing,
maybe. It looks like a spindle from a spinning wheel. Almost.
Somewhat, but it looks like it's too tall for that.
Maybe
if that makes sense.
I don't know.
Because it's pretty long there.
My only real experience with spinning wheels is when Sleeping Beauty reaches out, and that one was fucking huge. So.
Sure, I guess.
So, yeah, I don't know. Looks good. This is being made by the people that made We Happy Few and Contrast,
yes.
Which is an interesting studio with a, like, I think that We Happy Few is an interesting idea. That
we haven't even said the name of it yet, by the way.
I did before.
Did we?
I think I did. Yeah, South of Midnight.
I love the song though the song choice they did.
We Happy Few was a very interesting looking game that I then just did not enjoy playing at all. So
well, it's one when you find out what it was, you're like, oh, this is kind of lame. Because it was a procedurally generated thing, and you're like, I wanted this to be an actual plot.
And it was kind of before the procedural generation has gotten a lot better. Like it was kind of in the beginning parts of that where it just kind of ends up being like, yeah, you can play it forever. Like it's like if you want infinite mediocre food, here you go. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, that's not what I want.
It was very lame. I was very disappointed in that.
Let's see. From there, we got our first look at Star Wars Outlaws, which was a like a cinematic trailer. I'm gonna say right now that we're gonna just put this on ice because there's way more of this at Ubisoft, and
it was a nice reveal.
It was a good,
but like other than that, like the nice reveal about it was that it was clearly not a Jedi game.
Right.
But we'll talk more about that later.
Yep. Put that shit on ice.
Put it in carbonite.
Yep. From there, let's see. We got 33. What is it called? 33 Immortals. 33.
I don't remember.
33 something or
it's
others.
33 fucking co-op mode.
Yeah. I tell you what. I actually watched Phil Spencer and the devs play this at the end of the extendo thing.
The showcase one, the extended showcase.
This is being made by the people that made Spiritfarer, that really charming little indie game.
Yeah.
With with you can pet the cat and stuff, and it's like 33 player co-op top down kind of action RPG where you're like assaulting like a god's realm, and so you're fighting guys. I think that the gameplay here looks really just like dull. Like they've got this kind of whole thing where there's like there'll be 33 player co-op, and it's like, but is it fun? 33 player co-op, and it's like, well,
I think the idea is that to make it like easy to follow 33 people, because when you look at it, it is kind of basic, but it makes sense if there's 33 people on the screen. Because I played Ninja Turtles with 6 people one time, and that shit was hard to follow.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that they showed in the Extendo showcase, I'll just get this out of the way so we don't have to like talk about it more, is that like when you start the game, it's like chunks of people start in different areas, so it's not like all 33 people start the same place.
Yeah.
And then like little teams will go to different areas and do little challenges. But the overall combat it just ain't doing anything for me. Like the art style is nice, the animation is nice, but like what it looks like is just a really, really basic ARPG. And I don't know, maybe there's something else to it that I'm not seeing, but I watched both this and the other one, and like I don't know. Like, I feel like this E3, there have been a number of games that have been like
The 33 Immortals, yeah.
Fine. But I'm like, well, we go back to that article from like 6 months ago. We're like, fine isn't good enough anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stand out for the pack. So.
I think it's purely standing out because it expects you to work together with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I think they tried making it as simple as they can to not confuse too many people.
Yep.
Because I have a hard enough time coordinating 4 people. Like I once did Ultima Alliance 2 with my other 3 brothers, and we couldn't beat the first boss because they wouldn't listen to me.
Yep. Payday. We saw some Payday 3.
Yes.
That's some payday Payday right there, Michael.
Yeah, there's not much. I didn't play enough Payday 2 to really understand what was different.
Yep.
It just looked like Payday 2 but fancier.
Yep.
And a lot of cops getting shot.
Yep.
The end.
Yep. Looks like you're robbing some banks and shooting at some cops. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say. Like,
well, at some point, sometimes it made it look like it might be from a cop point of view, but I don't think it ever was. I think it was just a trick.
Yeah.
To make it maybe seem like that would be an idea.
Yep. I mean, definitely mowing down just like shitloads of cops, but that's what Payday is about, right?
Mowing robbing
down
banks,
shitloads of cops.
Whether or not that you can get out without mowing that many down, or getting out while mowing that many down.
Yep.
That's just what it comes down to.
I prefer my bank heists in the modern classic Payday Rockaway City or whatever
It's just called Rockaway City.
Okay.
You like to be hunted down by a terrible Chuck Norris voice acting.
That's right. I prefer, if I'm going to play a generic ass bank robber, I'd rather it be voiced by a bored Michael Madsen, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I was never a Payday guy. I got, the thing is, like, the great thing about Microsoft, right, is pretty much everything here is on Game Pass. I think actually
everything is. It's on this one.
Is
at least.
Star Wars? I don't think Star Wars is.
I think it's the only one that's not. As far as I know.
Anyway, the thing with Game Pass is, like, you don't have to sell me on shit that's on Game Pass. I'll install it and try it and then be like, nah, bro, that's some Payday, and I don't want to play Payday. But as I said, I think in a few episodes ago, I think the Payday audience is a lot like the Rage Select audience, where it's like, they're small but mighty. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
They will pay for whatever the fuck you ask them for.
They also did a John Wick crossover last game.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So maybe
even though he's not a bank robber.
He's a gun for hire though.
let's see. From there, we talked about, I don't know. I talked about this with Jason last week because it got leaked.
Yeah, and they fired that guy immediately.
The Persona 3 remake.
We also talked about this on a Patreon video.
Yes. It looks like Persona. Okay, I guess the question is, like, it seems like there's a lot of people that are really mad that you don't get the lady main character, and that some of the stuff from FES or whatever isn't in the game. It's just like
it's all vanilla Persona.
Vanilla 3. Persona 3. Like none of the additional stuff from any of the re-releases, and that people seem like really mad about that, like really pissed off about it.
Well, it's because it's one thing for like this is the reason I can understand it. It's because they're just like, look, we already have a version of this that it's like the Persona 5 Royale thing. It's like there's already a version of this that we consider the definitive one, and that's the one that you're not doing.
Yeah,
it's like if they remade. Actually, no, it's literally exactly what they're doing. But it's because it's hard to compare to a lot of other things because of that. And then some people are iffy about the new voice stuff too, because they changed all the voice actors.
Redid the voice actors,
and I get it because some of them are probably much older now, and some of them are very union now.
Yeah,
but they got a lot of very popular new voice actors. Some of them got their start on YouTube.
The Yuri Lowenthal guy's in there, right? The guy that was Spider-Man now.
He used to be the voice actor for the main guy, but he's not anymore.
Okay.
They replaced him with Luke's voice actor. From Street Fighter 6's Luke.
Oh, good. Yes, Luke, everyone's favorite character.
He actually. The funny thing is, the internet loves Luke now.
Oh, okay,
but it helps because that voice actor is like such a fun dude.
Yeah,
that he's done like meme voice acting for it.
If you are a person that's mad that this content isn't in Persona 3 remake, let me just tell you, just lean in close. I have a secret for you. They're going to release a Persona 3 Royale version like in 4 years where they add that shit back in then charge you $60 to pay the game again. And you're going to pay $60 because you're going to want it so bad and you're going to play the whole game again. Because if Persona 5 Royale didn't bankrupt the company because people were like, why the fuck would I play a 90-hour JRPG again? Instead, everybody's like, hooray, I can't wait to pay for this game again and then play an even longer version of the game I just got done playing 2 times over. They got you, guys.
No,
like
100%.
You're in the pocket, man.
I remember when Persona 5 Royale came out, and they're just like, it's like 120 plus hours, and you're like, yay! I'm like, whoa, what the fuck, guys?
So yeah, but I mean, I think this looks good. It'll give me an opportunity to try Persona 3 because I never did, because the remaster is still a fucking PS2 game. Like,
what's the PSP one? The one they re-released?
Or a PSP game.
I started with Persona 3, and I started with vanilla Persona 3 too.
Yeah.
So that's why I have no issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is I get why somebody would want to have the female protagonist, because there are certain choices you can do to keep certain people alive longer than normal.
Okay.
But that's the only thing I could really think about that. Also, it's got Revolver Jesus.
Okay, cool.
And I mean that for the vanilla one, because it still makes me laugh that there's a character that just looks like Jesus with a gun.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we did. This is Avowed.
Yes, this is the new game by Obsidian.
Yep, this is Obsidian's Skyrim. I didn't realize this takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe.
I didn't either until they were talking about it.
It's interesting. It looks like fucking Skyrim, except like way more colorful, like big splashes of color.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff going on in it with your moves and stuff. Much shinier, I guess, is the best way of putting it.
They said that they're looking to make it like Outer Wilds or Outer Worlds,
yeah.
Outer Worlds length.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So not like
That's
a billion hours
long,
like Skyrim,
but nothing super short either.
Yeah, like they're focusing, they said, on like density as opposed to like vast like huge areas or whatever, and I'm fine with that, man. Like, I think Outer Worlds was a great length. Like,
yeah, and the gameplay looks great. Like, it looks like they put a lot of work into it to make sure everything feels like a really responsive
Yep.
for your hits. And I that's one of the things about, those Skyrim games, or at least things that Bethesda makes, is that sometimes it doesn't feel right when you first start.
Yep.
And it seems like they're working on making sure that's not the case here.
They said they're going to focus a lot on like like side characters and like companions and companion stories. They also said there's going to be some kind of callbacks to the people who played Pillars of Eternity. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, that sounds great. Obsidian has been doing very good work recently, and this looks like the kind of Skyrim. The thing is that, like, if you were like, yeah, we're making this Skyrim, but this one's 200 hours long, and I'd be like, pass.
Yeah, I'm good. It's the whole thing like we mentioned with Battle Royale, 120 hours. No,
right.
I'm good. I don't.
But
I
if
don't
it's
need
like
that.
20 or 30 hours, sure, I could do that. So yeah, looks good though. Can't wait.
Yeah,
wait, did it say next year?
Yes.
Next year. Let's see. After that, it's so funny. I was in the chat and I was like, I'm not going to play Sea of Thieves Rare. I don't care if you put Monkey Island in. I'm not going to play it. And by the end of this trailer, I was like, I kind of want to play that. I kind of want to play that.
Well, it's there's a great moment in the trailer that's exactly why, which is the point where the lady goes, "This isn't like anything you've done prior to this point.
Yeah,
this is some wacky fucking Monkey Island shit."
Well, okay, so I love the way that they've made Stan's jacket look like it did in Old Monkey Island, where the pattern is static, but he moves around and it moves the pattern around. I love the fact that Stan is there, that the scum bar is there. I like the fact that it seems like Guybrush Threepwood has gone insane.
Yeah, he's been trapped for a year or something.
Yep.
And I love the fact that like everybody's reacting kind of the way you would if you walked into the world of Monkey Island, just going, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yep. And LeChuck is here as well, and the Voodoo Lady is here. The only kind of strike against this was I also read an article that talked about how like they didn't talk to Ron Gilbert at all about this.
Oh, really?
Like they just he was like, I found out at the showcase, man. Like
that's fucking weird as shit.
So it's not like a Ron Gilbert joint, but it's
that's
also
a shame. That's the only thing that's actually that bums me out actually.
It is a free update. I don't know, man. I might. There's chicken with a pulley. Like I said no, but oh man,
you should still do it just as a fan of the thing.
Yeah,
because unlike the last thing they did, which was the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, you're like, I don't really feel like hanging out with Johnny Depp, but I'll hang out with Guybrush.
Right. This looks a lot more fun, and that's coming out on July 20th. I don't know. I mean,
Game Pass still too. Yeah.
It's also just a nice thing to be like, hey man, they just keep going like, you want to play Sea of Thieves? I'm like, no. They're like, what if we add more to it? I'm like, still no. They're like, what if Pirates of the Caribbean is in it? I'm like, maybe. And they're like, no. They're like, what if Monkey Island's in it? And I'm like, no. I mean, yes. I mean, kind of. I mean, I guess I'm fine. I'll give it a try. Like they keep just roping me back in for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, no, I still don't want to play this game. God damn it.
I'm just happy that it's still a thing. It was like one of the first Game Pass things ever.
Yep, I remember that. Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting jobs.
Yeah.
This is the funniest thing in the world. None of the jobs that they show in this trailer are just like fly a passenger jet from like LA to San Francisco, right? Like
No.
it's like deliver supplies to an offshore drilling rig, or like fight fires, or hang glider apparently is a career. You could just hang glider, or no,
Sure.
a glider, not hang glider, but glider
Yeah.
like is a thing. But like drive a passenger jet. There's even like fly a rich fuck in a private jet, but like there's not an actual just fly people on a commercial jet. You can crop dust,
Yeah.
but you can't do that. This is fine. I mean, like it's great that they're they've spent all this time putting it together, and then it's kind of like, well, what do I do now if I don't want to just fly? I guess Michael, the what I just described is what Microsoft Flight Simulator is by default.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know what else you expect out of it.
Take off from one place and land somewhere else. You can just pretend that there are passengers. Well, I just wanted there to be an objective where I had to get on the intercom and be like, we're about to hit a little bit of chop.
I don't think that's something you could add to the system, though.
Fast the seatbelt sign. Sure, man. They could make my webcam turn on its microphone and.
Because I know there was people who already did stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was that famous one that Bruce Green did with some of his friends, where they did like an actual flight, like the actual time for a flight from, I want to say, like LA to Tokyo or something. I don't remember, something really far.
Yeah.
And they sat there the entire time doing as if they were the pilots for that, making sure they didn't crash and everything.
Yeah.
They even built like a cockpit.
I still want to play. You remember that game that was announced where you were a passenger on a plane that's going from like LA to like Tokyo?
Oh, yeah.
And all you can do is just fuck with the stuff in the plane, like, and it just goes in real time, like it's like a 12-hour game.
I'm a big fan of dumb shit like that, especially if somebody actually goes and does it.
Yeah. Like Desert Bus.
Desert Buses, yeah, because that's been played for charity a bunch of times.
They also put the Ornithopter from Dune in here.
Yeah.
I actually watched in the Extendo Xbox things. They actually went to the warehouse where they have these props and like got in one of the ones from the movie.
Oh, so they can scan it and everything.
Yeah, and apparently it's like a little separate. I don't know if the Pelican was the same, but this is like a separate mission, because in this trailer they show like all the desert and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's a separate map where they made Arakeen, the city from Dune, and the shield wall and stuff. And there's like a series of like 4 or 5 little missions that you get to play to learn how to drive it, and then like kind of go to certain little areas and look at them. And they also show in the trailer, so it's not like a spoiler or anything, there's like a sand crawler, and there's like a secret last mission where you have to go do something.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's kind of weird considering that Dune came out like how many years ago? Like 2 years ago?
Well, they're making the new one, or the new one's coming out soon.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah, see the film in theaters and play the expansion November 3rd, 2023. So
yeah, so that's what makes sense as to why they did that.
There you go. Let's see.
It's not like the David Lynch one where they just one and done kind of thing.
After that, we had like Michael, this Hellblade 2 trailer didn't do anything for me, because it's just Senua like muttering to herself for 4 minutes and then it was over.
That's all it was. That's all it was. I'm just watching a crazy person talk to themselves.
Like in a dark cave that's kind of hard to see, and there's just this lady like talking to herself and listening to ASMR psycho whispers, and then like it's over.
And then maybe they get attacked by something.
I was like,
okay, cool, I guess.
I don't know if you're actually like, I'm going to play this game, but I don't know if this was a good vertical slice for, like, the Xbox show.
No.
Like,
it has, like, a whole presentation in the beginning of her, like, introducing it and everything.
Yeah.
So you expect to see something really cool.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just, it looks nice, but I'm just watching a crazy person mutter to themselves.
Well, and, like, you remember last year they did the thing where they had the giant, right? She all the guys, and she throws the
really cool
spears.
Sequence.
Yeah.
That was really badass.
Yep.
And this is just like, what's happening?
I skipped through a lot of it. I guess I'll just I've been doing it, so I guess I'll just insert the stuff that's applicable. In the Extendo thing, they had a little studio tour where they showed that they have like the ability now to, like, they were able to build like a big platform to do like a boat section where they were like rocking it and stuff.
To do like the mocap for it or something?
Yeah, well, because everything is mocapped with her and the other people. So, good that they got the. I'm glad that this team got to try this out.
Yes.
Now it's time for what was that PlayStation 3 game with the red hair? Heavenly Sword 2. Now it's time for Heavenly Sword 2. You've gotten all this Hellblade out of your system. I want to know what happened to that lady from Heavenly Sword.
It'll be like 3 hours like the last time.
And wait, did that one have Andy Serkis in it?
I don't remember.
Or was that
a long time ago.
The other one, The Journey to the West, the monkey? He was the monkey guy, and that it was like the post-apocalypse where he was like the Monkey King.
That must have been whatever the second one you said was. Because Hellblade was more like a medieval thing.
Yeah.
It was like a God of War-ish thing.
But it was really weird. I liked it. It was like the only game it was like the only cool game that you could put your PlayStation 3 for like a year.
It was.
Where you're like, check this shit out. People are like, wow, that is impressive.
It was also like really short.
What else do you have? And I'm like, nothing.
I have this Gundam game where it makes water look like paper. So everyone forgets about that game.
But boy, yeah, this trailer just goes on and on.
Yeah, she doesn't really like say anything other than she's crazy.
Yep.
Or maybe crazy. I don't know. That was the thing about the first one, if I remember.
Unclear. Okay. So I was a little tepid on that, but I could be nothing but happy about Infinite Wealth. Was that the subtitle?
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Like a Dragon 8 Infinite Wealth, where Ichi from Like a Dragon wakes up naked on an American beach, and then does his best Austin Powers thing. I don't know how you don't know that you're fucking naked, dude. Like,
I assume he just goes commando all the time and just assumes that there's a breeze at all times.
Because he walks around and they've got all these jokes where you're about to see his schlongo and then you don't.
I love those kinds of gags because they have to be really creative. To make them not too insane.
And I like the idea that they're going to be in like America at some point, even if it's like Hawaii or something, right?
I appreciate the fact that he's still speaking Japanese, while everybody's like yelling at him in English.
Because he doesn't seem to realize that he's naked, and, and then eventually they're like, "Dude, you're fucking naked," and he's like, "Bah!" But this is great because he wakes up in Yokohama, I think.
Oh, you're talking about in the last
game? Yeah, he wakes up and he doesn't know what happened. Like,
it seems to be a running theme with him.
Yep. But whatever this is, I'm totally down. This looks stupid, and I love it. And it was just one big dick joke. The trailer,
100%, which is very indicative of his character.
Yep.
And I'm very interested in that.
He's great. He's great. Can't wait. 2024.
Yep.
Fallout 76 is a thing.
It's still around.
It's a thing.
It never went bankrupt. I know. Crazy.
There's a whole music video. There's doing Atlantic City expansion. I don't care.
I'm still surprised. It has to be doing some amount of money for them to still put stuff into it.
Oh, man. As somebody who once worked on an MMO that was like dead for years, there's going to be a community of like 400 whales that are just keeping that shit alive.
Oh, okay.
And like that's all they want to do. They want to play this one game. They love it. They're going to put money into it. And Bethesda's going to be like, as long as we keep putting money into it, we're going to keep fucking putting out expansions for it. So
remember when it was like we just spent a year every podcast talking stories about it?
Yep.
Just an entire year.
Yep.
Not even kidding.
Yep. It was more like a year and a half.
It's quite a while.
What was the mod team that made people submit written apologies when they broke the rules?
Yeah.
There was all of the bad merch, the bag, the rum,
helmets, their form where that accidentally doxed people.
Yep. When they started making people pay for more inventory expansion slots,
and then that also doxed people.
Yep.
Or people's stuff was getting erased.
Yep.
A lot of shit happened to a lot of people.
People found the dev room, and then it was like.
Yeah, the different. And then they were banning people who
banned you if you were ever in there.
They banned the guy who actually legitimately got everything.
Right.
That was the whole thing.
Yep.
That was a.
It was a real shit show.
It was a shit show.
It was what's our current whipping boy for Rage Select? Is it?
It's just Activision Blizzard.
It's Activision, Mike. Yeah, Blizzard is the new one. I feel like it was Bethesda for a while during Fallout 76, and then. What Squeenix? We had a lot of Squeenix.
A lot of Square stuff happened there.
Blizzard and Ubisoft.
Yeah, those are our two main ones now, especially Overwatch 2 lately.
Yeah, Capcom. I, for the life of me, thought this was going to be like an Onimusha remake.
Everyone thought that's what it was. I thought that's what it was going to be.
This isn't the Capcom show. This is called
something Path of Goddess.
Path of Goddess.
I don't remember the beginning subtitle because it's like super Japanese.
It's very strange looking. I think we're going to save it for Capcom because Capcom's show is shit.
It's short.
So we're just going to save it and talk about it when we come back to Capcom. Just know that it's Japanese medieval fantasy and it's really weird, but we'll talk about more about it later. Because we got no time for nothing. So let's see. After that, what do we got? Oh, right. We're going to be able to breeze through these things, which is good because I only want to talk about Starfield, for fuck's sake. Forza?
Yeah, a lot of Forza stuff.
It's a car game, apparently, for people who like cars.
Never heard of it. What is a car?
Oh, you can't even do that anymore. You've got like a fucking.
My car is nice enough that it could be in Forza.
Yeah, you are becoming slowly morphing into a car guy.
It's just the one car.
For now,
I would buy multiples of the goddamn thing.
Just wait until your pay stays the same and the economy crashes and they're selling sports cars, rock bottom prices. You're gonna have like a Camaro, like a Pontiac Aztec. No, I don't even know what. I don't know what a Fiero. You're gonna get an old Fiero and fix it up, make it all fancy.
I want a Trans Am. That's what I want. I want to make kit.
Anyway, I have nothing to say about Forza. This looks like a fucking car game. They always look great. This one looks just as good as anything else.
I don't even remember what they announced about it. Just its release date, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe. I wasn't paying attention.
So October 10th. I think.
October 10th. Yep. A lot of stuff. I was weird because I try to say this, and then I don't know if it like really lands for the people listening. But like, I always make the schedule for what we're going to play on Rage Select, right? And in a lot of the years past, it's like there used to be times where like you come to the summer, and it was just like, oh shit, there's like these big gaps in the summer. Go to this event where it's like, well, we came up to June, and I was like, I don't even know what. There's like 4 games in July. I don't know what we're gonna do. Everything comes out in July.
Yeah.
Everything comes out in either July or October or September. Like
they made a lot of July ones.
Necrom.
The Elder Scrolls. They talked about it last time. Right?
There was a huge conference where they talked about this in great detail, and we talked about it in great detail. And if you play Elder Scrolls Online, this looks like a no-brainer. I don't know why anybody would care. June 20th. Necrom. Overwatch 2. This was kind of a dick slap. This is a bit of a dick slap.
100%.
They had a whole big story trailer for Overwatch 2 missions that are coming over the summer. That's like very much looks like single player content, but I think is from what I can read. Okay, here's the things that I think I know, and you research stuff now, so you can fact check me on this.
I wrote a thing about it too. So.
One, there's 3 missions. I believe they're going to be like PvE, right? They're going to be co-op PvE. And you gotta pay $15 for them.
So this is what I found out. This is what I found out reading through some comments too, because apparently it is an event that you can do for free per se, but since it works the way an event is for the free stuff, to keep the missions, you have to pay $15 for it.
Oh, so
minimum.
You can play them time limited.
Yeah.
But to play them after the event is over, then you have to pay money for them.
Yeah, but and they did one of those things where it's like, well, if you pay for it, you're technically buying the season pass at the same time.
Yeah.
And so you also get a bunch of like random nonsense,
right?
Like credits, a
skin,
and
bullshit.
And then there's a $40 version called the Ultimate Invasion Bundle that comes with all that stuff and a lot more nonsense. So give them money is really the
goddamn
message
man.
here.
It's just Those are
just the 3. People are pretty sure that like whatever they come out with next is going to be like another 15 or something.
So again, so this is like we've already put the truth to the lie of just like, but it's free to play, and it's like it's already more than $60.
Yeah.
Like it's already between the battle pass and like this expansion and stuff. You're already paying more than $60, and you're getting less for that money than you would have gotten for the $60 you paid in Overwatch 1.
Well, they're even coming out because this all comes out on August 10th. They're even coming out with a new version of the pack of getting the characters right away.
Yeah.
So now there'll be a $5 one for all the legacy characters, and a $20 one that gives you the legacy and the new characters.
Oh god!
So if you did all that stuff for the season pass, it becomes more pointless now because you can just buy the characters right away for $20.
Also, they had a gall in this trailer to be like, also look, we're putting in a shooting range. I'm just like, what? Fuck you! Like that's not a thing.
Every time I read, because I read the entire blog post they did for it, explaining what actually comes with it.
Yeah,
and it just was like, man, this is some mobile game bullshit,
some money grubbing garbage. Like.
They're just like, we new maps and the firing range for only certain character things. It's like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with this fucking game.
Yep. I agree. I really don't want anything to do with Overwatch 2 at this point. Persona 5 Tactica was also leaked last week. Michael, you have any thoughts on this? My thoughts were, this is... I'm not a big fan of the chibi art style, so I don't really want to play this. Like, I would play it if they were like looked like the striking character designs from Persona 5 and not these weirdos. Like
it's an okay looking game. It's just I'm not super into the tactics types of games.
Yeah.
And it's another one of the because they're treating Persona the way a lot of companies treat their big franchises now. They're just like everything.
Right.
Whatever your idea is, we'll make a game with it. Like I remember the first time I was confused by that was when they made the dance game for PSP, I think.
Oh, Dancing All Night?
For Persona 4? Something like that?
I think so.
And then they made a bunch of spin-offs for 3 and 4 together after a while. Mm-hmm. And but that's how Persona's been for a bit. So I'm happy for whoever's going to be happy for it. I'm just like, okay, I guess. So,
for me, it's mainly. I mean, I love tactics games, man. Just like I hate this chibi art style. I hate the way that they look like little babies. Like I don't want to play Persona babies. I want to play like Persona adults.
Persona babies.
Yeah.
Making your dreams come true. I don't remember the rest of the song goes.
Coming in November. Whatever.
I'm sure Amanda has that song memorized.
I have that song memorized, but I'm not going to sing it because I watched a lot of Muppet Babies when that shit was new when I was a kid.
Well, I watched it too. I just don't remember it. I used to have the Kermit doll for it.
From here, we got a trailer for Starfield. Put that in the freezer with everything else because we got.
It was weird that they did that.
45 minutes of fucking Starfield coming. So
they should have just saved it for last, and they didn't.
That's very true. Because I thought this would be the end. I thought this was the end of the conference.
It felt like the end of the conference because they're like, well, we're going to talk about Starfield.
Yep.
So what was the point of showing it to me then?
What else? How much more do we got here?
We got the climbing game right now.
Jusant. This is from the Life is Strange developer. Oh man, I don't know if we're going to be able to get through this. Michael, do you care about a mountain climbing game?
I care about the idea of what else did you do during it? Because otherwise, I'm just going to play the Uncharted series.
Yeah, those are the parts of the climbing parts of the Uncharted series are the ones that I wish that they would cut out of the game because it's just hold up and then press X and then press X and then press X and then press X.
That's what a lot of this trailer looks like. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. But there's some stuff that he does later on. But it's like I want to know what else you do.
What this little like Blobo friend is.
Well, the story is like it involves whatever's going on with these two, but I want to know what you do in it because I don't want to just hold down up and then have a cutscene and then hold down up.
Sure. Yep. I mean, it looks very nice. Like it's got a very nice art style. But I agree with you. I would like to know a little bit more detail about the actual climbing mechanics because it does just kind of look like the climbing parts from an Uncharted game, which I find to be the very most boring parts. So.
At most, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And even then, they're almost the same thing.
Yep. Let's see. After that, we got which
quick
one
teaser
is this?
For Still Wakes the Deep.
Still Wakes the Deep, yeah, by the Chinese Room, who did Dear Esther and Everybody's Going to the Rapture.
Yeah.
Did they also do?
I forgot what the third one was. The article mentions, or the article that Xbox mentions it, because the article mentions more of what's actually happening in it too.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just like you're on this oil rig, something's invaded it. And now you got to figure out how to get the fuck out of there, but also like try to save your crew at the same time.
Is it What Remains of Edith Finch? Was it the other one that they did?
That's the thing. I don't remember.
I can't remember. It's one of those.
It was a longer one, a longer title.
It's one of those, right? Though it's like an adventure, right? It's like you're trying to figure out puzzles and navigate through this place and escape. You know,
because you're trying to because there's like submissions in it where like your crew is trapped in certain areas, so you have to figure out how to save them.
Yeah, but
also survive whatever is like inside of this. Inside the oil rig hunting you guys.
Okay. Could be good. Those are such those games are so subjective because it's really easy for me to get bored of them.
Yeah.
For me, at least. Like some people don't.
You're the guy who's like, where's the monster?
Right.
Come at me, bro.
Right.
And then you're like, can I kill it? And you're like, no. And then you're just like, well, I don't want to do this anymore.
You know what? That's not true because Blake and I played that Amnesia game, and that Amnesia game had like sub-objectives of like get the thing to do the thing, and I was like, great, something that's not just hide in a locker. Except that then in the second part we kept dying because I kept just like running full tilt trying to get the objectives done instead of hiding in a locker and being like, I'm so scared right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not the way you don't play the way those games like expect a normal human being to play them.
Damn right.
You're very much like I could make that fucking run.
Yep, I can get over there. there. I get back.
But that also means you'd probably be one of the guys who died in the horror movie pretty
almost
fast.
certainly. Well, no. That's real life. I can't run in real life.
You're like, I can turn on the power to Jurassic Park. Don't worry about it.
I can hold down the L3 button in a video game, but running takes my actual leg power, which is garbage. I was somewhat unimpressed by Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't entirely clear. It's like cell shaded, kind of third person action skateboarding.
It's just a little adventure game, really.
Yeah, with
some platforming and stuff here and there.
I guess just nothing from this trailer stood out, and the art style kind of hurts my eyes a little bit.
No, that's fair. I think it just looks fun.
Yeah,
or I think it looks fine. But I really know until I would get my hands on it. But yeah, it's very, very colorful.
Yeah. It reminds me of that. What was that one where you play as like it's like a desert wasteland where you're driving on that like speeder and everything is like has hard black lines. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what it's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's kind of like that where for me that starts to get kind of hard to look at over time. Because
there's plenty of games that we'll play that were like, this seems like a good idea, but I can't fucking look at it at all.
So I don't know. It's coming in 2024. Again, the thing with that is that like it didn't make a big impression on me, but also it's on Game Pass, so I'm gonna play it.
That's the fun thing about these Microsoft ones.
Yep. Can't say that for you, Capcom, Ubisoft. You can make me pay to go to Pandora. Wait, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Not there yet. No.
Keanu comes out. He's a real goober. He's a real fucking goober.
I love Keanu Reeves. He even got to do the extended version of the showcase.
Yeah,
and I loved him because he's like, "Can I curse on this?"
Right.
And they're like, "Yeah," and he immediately goes, "Shit."
Yeah, he was so weird. It was like. He seemed really high.
I think that's just how he is when he's excited.
I think so too.
Because when he's excited about something, he gets really giddy.
Yeah.
And I always think back to when they talk about him recording for the game. When they were done, he's like, "So what else you got?"
Right.
And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to keep going. Give me more dialogue." And so they'll write dialogue for him to keep going.
It's funny because I feel like so many of his movies, the characters that I see him in action movies, he's very like stoic and like cool, right?
Yeah.
And then you get him in person and he's just like, "Oh, I'm so fucking excited."
It turns out the closest character to him in real life is Ted.
Right.
And nobody seems to understand that Keanu Reeves is just fucking Ted.
And I love the fact now that they just let him go. They're just like, just bring in Keanu and let him do whatever the fuck he wants. So
I love him. I would love to meet him.
I love that he does this Phantom Liberty intro, and then at the end he looks like he just fucking like stares at the camera and then just runs off to one side.
I love him. I love protect Keanu Reeves at all costs. That's really what it comes down to.
I could talk a little bit about this Phantom Liberty. I mean, like we've seen trailers for Phantom Liberty before, and like nothing that we've seen is like big. It's a montage, right, of like gameplay, but none of it is like mechanics, right? We don't see HUDs, we don't see any kind of stuff.
No, it's all story stuff in this trailer.
Yeah, and I feel like we kind of know the story. It's like there's kind of there's an underbelly to the underbelly of Night City, and that's where this takes place.
It's got some Escape from New York vibes.
Well, because the president crashes,
and you're dying apparently.
Yeah, and you gotta go rescue the president.
Are you bad enough, dude, to rescue the president with Keanu Reeves?
Here's the thing, though. Well, they first off they said that it was $30 for the expansion, but I've also seen numerous different sources that say this is what I was so hoping is that this doesn't just add these story missions; it also revamps like huge swaths of the actual game mechanics.
I've been hearing that a lot, is that the devs were like, we haven't really said this or showed it a lot, but we overhauled the shit out of this game.
Yeah. Like
because they want the redemption arc, but I guess they're scared to really say what's changed yet. I don't know, but they're very excited. Apparently,
I've seen a lot of different stuff that talks about how like cyber psychosis from the Edgerunners is a thing where you can juice your implants to make them even more powerful than they could ever have been before, but then it like reduces your health and like fucks you up a little bit. I read somebody say that clothing has been made entirely cosmetic.
I heard about that too.
That like all of the combat stats are now just like your stats. They don't have anything to do with which fucking Hawaiian shirt you're wearing. And I'm like, good.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wear dumbass outfits. Like
when I last played it, my dude looked so fucking stupid. But since it was all like first person anyways, it didn't matter to me.
Yep. I hated it because every time I hit the pause button, it showed my V, and I was like, Well,
it just made you picture like all the serious moments in this horrible fucking outfit.
Yeah,
you're like, oh boy.
So I'm glad that I never played it, because it means that when this comes out, I can finally like start and play with all of the stuff.
Before you guys claim anything, we did give it a shot. It's just that we didn't like it enough to keep going.
Yeah.
So we didn't really get that far for the most part.
I mean, they didn't really make what I wanted to. The build, I tried to make a build that was like the least viable build in the game, and then it was not fun, and I was like, well, no, fuck me then, I guess.
My other issue is that if you hit a dead body with your car just got stuck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things wrong with that game.
But this looks good. I mean, the thing is that the game has always looked good, but as I've heard, like, even the expansion stuff that they've done up until now has been good. Like, the patches that they've done have all made the game better.
Yeah. And honestly, I may end up, if I end up liking the games and the new version of it, I could see myself buying this, because I bought it for $10 on a Black Friday because they're trying to get rid of copies of it at the time. So I didn't spend that much on it, so another 30 would just be fine.
Well, fuck, Michael, we're gonna have to wait until next to do Starfield, because we got City Skylines 2.
I thought this was a commercial for medicines.
It very much looks like it. Like, I reckon. It was, we were watching this and I realized what it was, and I was like, oh man, I'm too fucking plugged into this shit after 10 years. I'm like, oh yeah, that's City Skylines 2, because I recognize the font. Like,
I knew it looked familiar.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, it looks like City Skylines 2.
Yeah.
It looks like City Skylines, but way better. So,
hooray. As long as it's not an only online game, people will be fine with it.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how this franchise managed to eat SimCity. Yeah. There hasn't been a SimCity since 4.
Well, SimCity really fucked itself last time it happened, which was the only online thing that happened with it.
Yep.
And more.
Yep. So, yeah, City Skylines 2. I think we had a teaser for this, but it's October 24th. Everything's in October and on Game Pass. So, let's see. From there, Atlas finally put out a trailer for Metaphor ReFantazio, which is the non-Persona game from the Persona 3, 4, and 5 devs.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a full fantasy game.
Yep.
Which is a weird thing to say considering, but I can kind of see what they mean by it when you watch the trailer for it.
Well, yeah, it's like in a fantasy world as opposed to like in the modern day, but there are fantasy elements.
Yeah.
The thing that's so weird to me, Michael, is that the main character looks like a character from another game or something, and I can't fucking figure out what it is.
I keep thinking that too, and I feel like maybe it was just another trailer for this years ago that just might be stuck in the back of my brain. I don't know.
I think I know what it. I think I might.
Maybe something Shin Megami related.
Maybe. Anyway, this looks batshit. Like, this actually makes Persona look like really restrained.
Tamed,
it's just like colors of characters, menus and colors of characters and menus.
Fantasy things. People in capes.
Here's a meteor. Here's a fairy. Here's like some medieval combat. Here's an open world. What's going on? I don't know. Fuck you. That's what's going on. So yeah, it looks really good. I'm sure that 1 million people will play it. Like, I'm sure it will probably be really popular, and then people will complain bitterly about some part of it. I don't know.
100%.
There's got to be some part of it where they complain. Okay, all right. I was just looking at that menu. I haven't zoomed in on the menus yet. So anyway, though, hey, I'll tell you what. I'd rather play this than Final Fantasy.
That's fair.
Because this has a lot of okay. You know when you meet people that really like spicy food and how irritating they are because they won't shut the fuck up about how regular food has no taste, and I've got to put this ghost pepper chip on my eggs because eggs don't taste like anything unless I put a fucking 6 billion Scoville sauce on them.
They need to feel alive, Jeff.
Right, exactly. That's how I feel about Final Fantasy versus this game. Is it's like this game's got all the spice in it. Look at all the art style. Look at the art style that it has, as opposed to this one.
Have you heard about this weird trend in China right now?
Which trend?
It's called eating white people food. And what it is they eat things that are bland, and to see how it tastes, and they do it to torture themselves. It's a whole thing apparently over there.
Okay, but what is the question?
Like plain sandwiches, and
but what kind of plain sandwich?
Like a sandwich where it just has like the most basic things, but like nothing fancy about it.
But what?
Just like white bread
and
some meat, some lettuce.
But what meat?
But like normal ass like ham and shit. Like there's like I said, nothing like super fancy. Like they're not adding condiments to it. They're not adding like spices to things.
So it was just like I'm going to put egg salad on Wonder Bread with a slice of iceberg lettuce. This is what white people eat. It's like,
kind of,
bitch, we know about bacon, okay? Like, fuck you.
It's just what they call it apparently, because the internet has been fighting them on it too, for that reason. But it's a lot of stuff that's just like, it's the stuff that people make fun of people bringing to like potlucks kind of thing.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
But I found out about this yesterday and I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Like, come on, man. Doritos are good. You can't fucking tell me that it's just like, what are these? They don't even taste like anything. And it's like, no, they taste like cheese dust. Anyway, sorry.
I'll have to find it again later. But it's a weird, guys, look it up. It's some weird shit.
I sometimes get a little pissy about some of this stuff where it's just
You're
like
defensive about white people.
I am.
Happening.
Well, the idea that you've just got to put like fucking like a gallon of hot sauce on every food, or else it doesn't taste like anything. It just tastes like cardboard. I'm like, you broke your mouth. That's what happened. It's like, I know what regular food tastes like, and I'm a smoker. Like, my sense of taste has been dulled. Anyway. ReFantazio looks like it's got the spice. It's got a gallon of hot sauce on it, and I love the hot sauce when it's on my video games as opposed to my sandwich, my eggs. I like eggs. So took a weird turn. Let's see. All right, Towerborne looks boring as fuck to me. I'll be honest. This is from Stoic, the Banner Saga people. Everybody lives in a giant windmill, and then you go out with people to do like third-person beat 'em up, fight generic monsters, and get resources to bring back to your giant windmill.
I also feel like you're trying to expand the windmill to like different areas or something.
Yep.
At least I feel like that's what it's trying to do.
Yep. There's nothing about this that seems interesting to me. Like, it just looks very generic. And
it's just such a weird idea.
Yeah.
Like, what if all of humanity lived in a tower windmill?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? I guess. Because at least in Attack on Titan, it's a bunch of walls in a city.
Yep.
You're like, no, I live in a windmill. They're like, okay, that's fucking weird. There's probably like 20 people in there tops.
It's like, it's like a side-scrolling isometric beat 'em up, right? Like a medieval one. Except that, like, I think that the difference between like a boring beat 'em up and a good beat 'em up is environment. And this is like, everything is just like in a forest and fighting like, here's a monster. And I don't know, maybe could just be jaded that I don't like generic monsters, but
it just looks fine. That's really what it comes down to. It's just, like, it's a different type of game for them.
Yeah. So
I feel like they're playing it a little safe.
Yep.
Other than its weird plot.
I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't do anything for me.
Also, whenever you're saying something born, it doesn't always work for me.
And then our last game before we take a break and then come back is one of the weirdest fucking things I've seen.
So, do you guys like BioShock Infinite?
Well, guess what? We just filed the serial number off of BioShock Infinite,
and that's time travel.
Clockwork Revolution. This is In Exile's next game, so that's the company that did like Wasteland 3. And apparently, it's not like a first-person shooter; like it's some kind of RPG.
Well, it had some first-person shooter stuff in it.
Apparently, that's just what they're saying, though, right? Is that it's some kind of RPG. It's not just a first-person shooter. Yeah. It's got some kind of time bullshit in it. Hey, man, I'm totally cool. Like, people are just like, who wanted BioShock 2? And then my hand goes up in the air, and I'm just like, who would want to play BioShock Infinite 2? And I'm like, right here, buddy, right over here. Totally want to play BioShock Infinite 2.
I was talking to somebody about it. I'm like, I can imagine the lawyer in the room who's getting sued for it and be like, look, it's time travel, not multiverse. They're two completely different things, Your Honor.
Well, also, we don't know what kind of game it is.
Also, the bad guy's a woman. That's the difference.
Right.
Come on, guys. Clearly different.
Hey, man, I'm cool. I'm cool with the weird steampunk time bending airships. Like, Actually, we don't even know if this is in like a big airship. I do know, I missed it the first time. I do know that I just saw a guy get sucked into a giant fan and then explode into red jam.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of blood, and I like that. I also like this gun that appears to just be made out of a bunch of like coils, shooting electricity at shit and like making it explode. 100% down. Like, I don't know what the difference between this and the fucking windmill tower is, where I'm just like, fuck that windmill tower game. But Bioshock Infinite clone, hells yeah. Like, I don't care.
It's just the aesthetic, I think, is what it comes down to.
Probably.
Aesthetics go a long way.
Big old steampunk guys and time travel and whoa, those are some mutton chops.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Better be better than fucking Atomic Heart was. That broke my heart.
Well, it's not that same company, right?
I know, but you know what I mean? Like when I watch a trailer and you're like, this is like a ripoff of Bioshock.
Right.
I'm super excited. You're like, oh, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah. And yeah, that was main Microsoft. They had one more thing. They have a new Xbox Series S. They have a 1 terabyte black Xbox Series S.
They love doing that shit, by the way.
What? Just making it a different color?
They'll make like a white version of something and then make a black version of it, and it has more space. Because it happened with the Xbox Elite.
That's true.
Because the original one was like what, fucking 16 gigs or something at most,
something like that.
And it was like 120 for the next one. You're like, what the fuck, guys?
Also, I don't know why
people like the color black more.
I don't know why
it's like the Batmobile.
Phil is wearing a Hexa t-shirt. So he's pissing me off. Like,
apparently he just likes Hexen because he somebody asked him about it.
It's like the worst. It looks like he got it at the mall. It looks like he ordered off a Redbubble.
He
like
most
it looks
likely
like
did.
Garbage. Like
he must have made it himself.
Because I thought, oh, it fucking comes out at the end with a Hexen t-shirt on. I'm gonna get a Hexen remake. I haven't heard anything from id Software in a while. I'm gonna get a Hexen remake, and then it was like, nah, we're just making a version of our shittiest console that's fucking up our game development that's got more space on it.
I was laughing because I felt like he was gaslighting people. It was like, we hear you guys. We're making more Xbox for you to buy. And I'm like, I can find these Xboxes really easily, guy.
Yep.
Like the PS5s are the ones that are harder to find.
Yep.
I don't know what universe you live in, Phil Spencer, but I would like to see it.
I've almost considered buying an Xbox Series S just because, I mean, like, I don't know.
My brother has one.
It's fine for, it's fine for just 1080p. It does like next gen. It's like a little bit more updated. But I got too many fucking consoles anyway. My Series X is just sitting over there. It hasn't even plugged in.
Mine doesn't get messed with very often. The only reason I would maybe get one is to like put it in my room or something because they're very small.
Yeah.
But even then, it would just turn into a streaming box.
Right. You can just buy an Apple TV for less.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming. What do they say? September 1st, and
Yes.
it's $350.
Okay.
Which
It's the price of a Switch.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you were going to spend $350 on a console, you should be better off buying a Switch.
Yeah.
Like,
and you can expand the hardware or the memory size of a Switch for really cheap.
True. Or you could just save up another $150 and buy a Series X.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that far. I know that $150 is a lot of money for a lot of people, and the economy's all fucked right now. But like, part of me is just like, just do yourself the favor and save up the extra $100. Like, take out a loan,
They
do
still have
something.
the finance plan, don't they?
I don't know. I don't know if they do that anymore.
That's how I bought my Series X.
Anyway, boy, I've dramatically underestimated the amount of time it takes to do stuff. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Starfield, and we're going to talk about Ubisoft. And I'll be goddamned if we're not going to get through both of those at the very least. We'll see you then. Oh boy, there's so much left. There's so much cheese left to eat.
We got to go to space, Jeff.
Oh my god, I got to get this cheese into space. I don't know where this is coming from. Anyway,
well, we got to find out if the moon is made out of cheese.
That's right.
So Wallace and Gromit are going to help us.
So after literally years of just tickling your balls with a feather, here's some concept art. You want to listen to Todd Howard talk about what Starfield is for 20 minutes? Like, no, show me Starfield, you sons of bitches. We got a 45-minute Starfield show. We could do a whole hour on this, but
100%.
I'm going to leave it a little bit because we're not going to go over all the specifics. Michael, here's the thing. I've been very critical about Bethesda over the years. I am notoriously difficult to get excited about video games because I'm jaded. I'm like a movie reviewer who's seen all the movies for a long time, and I'm just like, bah, but what have you done for me lately? Man, it's Skyrim in space, and like I want to go to there. Like
that's really all it is. But there's nothing wrong with that.
You're right.
And there's a reason why they've made Skyrim on everything.
Yes.
So and now it's being made in space.
I felt like I felt like a double-edged sword because there were a lot of people on the Discord when we were watching this who were just like, man, I'm not impressed. Fuck that shit. And I was like, no, get excited. And I'm like, no, but I've trained them not to get excited.
Yeah, you
like,
taught them too well.
What have I done? I learned it by watching you. All right,
pretty much. That's what happens, man.
Yep. So this just looks like Skyrim in space meets No Man's Sky. It's funny. I didn't put it together in my head until just recently, where it's like, okay, there are going to be planets that have settlements that have like bespoke ass Skyrim adventures, Fallout adventures in them.
Yeah.
But there's also going to be a bunch of like kind of untamed, just empty planets. But they appear to have overhauled the entire settlement system. There's some reason for you to be like mining resources and assigning people to places like you do in No Man's Sky. And like, oh man, I want to make a base. I want to make my home base on a planet, put a bunch of guys in it, like decorate my office, and then go there and look out the window at the weird ringed planet in the distance. And like, I want to make my ship look like a fucking transformer, like Voltron.
People are gonna make that fucking Vader planet, and you know it.
Make what?
That Vader base on a volcano planet.
Vader base.
Yeah.
Vader base.
It's going to be Mustafar.
Mustafar, yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that all of this looks great. I think that the idea that they're going to procedurally... here's the thing. I really do think that the idea of, like, we're going to procedurally generate a bunch of planets that you can go to or not go to that don't really have stories on them or are like the Radiant stories from, like, Skyrim or Red Dead or something like that, where they've got kind of canned little things where it's like, the Raiders have been fucking up our mining base. Will you go shoot all of them in the face? I'll be like, yes, I will be right back. I'm totally down for that. Also, I like the fact that, like, I love the aesthetic. I love the NASA punk thing that they're doing where everything's like slightly desaturated, but not so desaturated that it looks like weird.
Well, what's great about it is that they decided to make sure everything was more realistic-ish.
Yeah.
Like something that you feel like you could see in the real world. And they also wanted to make sure it wasn't like when you walked onto like a Star Trek Enterprise bridge where everything is like super shiny and everything looks like somebody's cleans it every 20 minutes.
The lens flares.
Whereas when they showed the ship there, it looks like my apartment where like there's a bunch of shit everywhere and haven't cleaned a certain area for a while. Like that sort of idea.
I love that they talked about a lot of different like perks that you can use to have different things, like you could like specialize in like jetpacks or like
the punching one was the one that got me interested.
Yeah,
because he's like, I just punch everything to death, and it shows a dude just like uppercut a guy into the air.
I realized I was trying to think about it, and I was like, why didn't Fallout 4 why didn't Fallout 76 do anything for me? And it's like because they couldn't make a broken Bethesda game, right? Like
no, and if you did, they banned you.
Right, exactly. And I was like, well, why didn't Fallout 4 work for me? And a lot of that was because I was tired of the wasteland. It was just too much wasteland.
Yeah.
And again, you couldn't make like an incredibly broken build even in that single player game, and like the story just didn't click with me. But space is like the fucking that's like the big difference, because
also robot companions.
You want to know something crazy? I was like almost out of my seat with excitement. They talked about when you're in space how you get jacked by other people and how like you can blow up the ships, or you can like knock out the engines and then like dock with the ships and then shoot everybody on board and then take that ship and make it part of your fleet. And I was like, there was an old Pirates of the Caribbean game where I didn't do the main story for like days because all I was doing was just fucking like knocking over ships and then like selling them and then upgrading my fleet and then like going out and getting more ships and like.
Well, I did that in Assassin's Creed 4 when they're like, you can board other people's boats. I'm like, well, I'm to do that for 3 days now.
Oh my god! For years, since the days of Battlecruiser 3000 AD, which I downloaded when it was in early access before that was even a fucking thing. I think I got like a Whereas beta copy of that shit. I have wanted a game where you can like walk around and do stuff, and then get in a ship, and then go into orbit, and go to other places and do it. And strangely enough, like, there hasn't been a game that you can really do that with. Like No Man's Sky a little bit,
closest, yeah.
But there wasn't anything to really shoot. Right? That's the thing that was missing.
Yeah.
Was the guy saying the Raiders are attacking the camp. You got to go shoot them all. And I'm like, if you just did that, I would have played the shit out of No Man's Sky.
They said there's like 1,000 planets at the moment.
Yep.
And that's kind of insane.
Yep. God, I really want to play this game. Like,
yeah,
I really want to play this game. Like,
I get some of the weird criticisms people have. The FPS one is a criticism that happens for a lot of games in general.
Yep.
Their explanation for why it's locked at it, though, makes a lot of sense to me, though.
I don't know that I saw the actual explanation for that.
Their explanation is because, you know, a lot of times when you do quality mode, everything is locked to 30 FPS because they want everything to look as nice as possible.
Right.
That's literally what they're doing.
Okay.
They're like, it's basically like, this is as if the game is set to quality mode at all times, because we would rather keep all of the fidelity than have you go like at 60 FPS.
The thing is that, I mean, I'm sure that, like, right, okay, listen, one, I've kind of revamped a little bit of my thought about frame rate, mostly because of Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like, I think that for me, the frame rate being locked at 30 FPS isn't as big of a deal if I'm enjoying myself so much that I don't, like, I don't need the additional quality in order to like get it. Because I was really worried. I was actually thinking about playing Tears of the Kingdom on like an emulator to try to get it 60 frames per second. But then I just started playing it on the Switch, and I was like, oh, I played this for 4 days. I haven't slept or ate or gone to the bathroom or done anything but play this game for days straight. I guess I don't need 60 frames per second in order to enjoy a game. I just need it to be a very enjoyable game. So
that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people keep missing. But we're in the day and age where it's the only thing that's different.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's the reason they're upset now. Because it used to just be like, oh, the graphics look amazing now. But now we're now in the battlefield of the FPS.
Sure.
And I don't mean like first-person shooter, guys. I mean like the frames per second stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird battlefield because most of us actually don't care.
Well, also, okay, let's also be honest, right? One, this game will be available on PC, and I'm sure that it'll be playable at, like, if you have a 4090, that you're
they're
going to
mod
the
shit out of this thing.
Yeah, even if you can't do it, that the modders will get on that. Two, as we've seen with Skyrim, right? Bethesda doesn't like let their games sunset; they just keep re-releasing them.
Oh, 100%.
So it's possible that with whatever, if there's a second gen of the Series X PS5 or whatever that has a little bit more power, that we might get a 60 FPS version at some point. I do get that some people just won't play games that won't run at that high. That's fine. That's, you know, your decision. But I have learned at this point that I'm not going to knock it unless it's distracting, right? So
yeah, and honestly, a lot of times it's not that distracting, but there are people I know who are very much like, it bothers me because they see it.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't understand because I don't see the lines of the Matrix the way they do apparently. So I'm just like, this is fine. I don't really understand.
I notice it, but for me, the fun factor can override it.
Okay.
To the point where the thing is that, like, if you can keep playing a game, I feel like eventually your brain just compensates. Or maybe my brain compensates because I haven't been in the 60 FPS PC universe for so long that I just now expect everything to do it, that I can still go back if I need to.
Yeah, because I do see the difference once you change it to 60, because I did that once I played Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get why you guys like this, but I also don't feel weird about going back.
But it's not such an improvement that you would not play a game because it wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've played a lot of games just turning on quality mode as my thing instead. The only time I'll set it to, what is the other mode? Performance mode?
Performance,
usually. Because I feel like the game needs to, like, maybe run a little better.
Yeah.
But even then,
like, you wouldn't want to play Devil May Cry at 30 frames per second.
I've done that. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Well, because the old PS2 ones were like that. It's like I don't even think I can get my current version to do it because it needs like a fancier television to go higher.
Oh, like a variable.
It needs 120.
Right.
Is the thing, and mine. I don't think mine does that.
Yeah.
So technically, I think I am playing it on 30 frames per second. I don't remember. That's the thing.
I thought it played at 60 by default.
I don't remember about
the new
5.
one, at least.
I don't remember what 5 does. But
I believe it does.
But I know I've played 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Like there's no way a PS2 was doing 60 FPS.
I think it might have been. I honestly think it. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look.
I know PS1 ones apparently did at one point. But I feel like that wasn't something you could pull off back then.
Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say here. I mean, they showed off a lot of story stuff.
Well, we can mention that the story stuff involves the fact that there's a reason why there aren't alien people.
Yeah.
Because that was something some people were wondering. It's like, will there be aliens like Mass Effect? But instead, it's like, no, this is the idea that like we colonized everything, but we never ran into intelligent life.
Right.
Everything that you run into is like the equivalent of like a deer or something or a wolf.
Yeah.
That's an alien. So yeah.
I like the different factions that they showed. I like the fact what they showed at one point, like docking with like another ship, like a big ship, like a battleship, and walking around inside it. I absolutely love all of the
sandwich stealing. That was the weirdest part of the entire thing. That lady. So I don't know where they found her.
She's just like, this is the regular looking white lady, and she shows him. She's like, yeah, the thing for me is I like to make all my ships look like animals. So this here is the platypus. And we're like, okay,
like, that's a fun idea. I also like stealing all the sandwiches.
Like, I like to dock with ships and shoot everybody, and then I find all the sandwiches. I take them back to my ship and I put them on this table that's full of sandwiches. And I was like, okay, you've lost
wrong with you, lady.
A little bit.
I kept expecting for it to cut back and she had like a bunch of shit on her face or something, talking about more insane things. And I also like to seal the blood of my enemies. You're like,
Yep.
Somebody to pop up. Who let her in here? What's happening?
There was also something that I saw really briefly, Michael. I don't know if you saw this, where it seems like there also might be some like space powers that you get at some point. Like there was like one shot where they showed.
Well, it's because it adds. It's part of the story thing where they. It's the closest thing I can analog it to at the moment, off the top of my head, is Mass Effect 1.
Yeah,
which is where you walk up to a thing and you're like, oh my god, this is this possibly made by alien people. And I think the idea is that when you find more of those, it's kind of like getting dragon shouts.
Yeah,
is that you just start gaining space powers or something. At least that's what my understanding of what I was seeing was.
Yeah,
because there's definitely some shit they show that's just like, you have space powers, bro. Go ahead and use them and punch people to death.
There's also a one thing that I will kind of bust on the game for a little bit. I don't know what it is with this current generation, but like the facial hair still looks weird. Like,
yeah, they haven't figured out facial hair yet. Especially since a lot of the outfits or a lot of the faces don't seem to match the facial hair.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, that just doesn't look like it meshes well.
It seems like they just turned the contrast on the facial hair up way too high.
I keep seeing that on those.
You can't see it through.
Because when they show their default character and they start adding hairs to them,
yeah,
I was like, I don't think that looks good on him.
Yeah. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, it's fucking Space Skyrim, which, like, the thing is that I definitely... my excitement for it's like my excitement for Skyrim was like a sponge, and they wrung it all the way out a long time ago, and then they kept wringing, and I'm just like, there's no more. You can add fishing to the game. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to play Skyrim again. So
add killing kids and you might get me. But the only downside I'll give the game, which I think is more because of the limitations of what they're trying to do, is that people's facial animations are still very Xbox 360 is
basic,
the best way of putting it.
Real stiff.
Like they just stare at you, and like Mass Effect 1 had that, as well as a lot of the old Fallout games, where they it's obvious that they didn't add a lot of facial animations to some people. Yeah. But there's so much shit in it that it's like it's easy to kind of just like, okay, I get why that wasn't the thing you were focused on. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of people. Man, we're gonna have to make it Almond Space in space. Yep. Space. Almond Space.
Even the guy who talks about it looks like Mike Hagar.
It's like Freddie Mercury.
He's got a big old mustache. It's both. It's a little of both.
Mike Hagar, Freddie Mercury's love child.
Yeah, basically.
I like the fact that there's stealth, which means that you'll definitely be able to break this game because stealth in Bethesda games is consistently broken. Yeah, I don't know. I got really nothing bad to say about this outside of the facial hair. Like, that's the only thing bad I have to say.
Yeah, the stuff I mentioned, the only things. And the only other thing I'm worried about is how much of this actually will run when it comes out.
What do you mean?
Because Bethesda is going to Bethesda. It's going to come out, and they're going to be like, this game's great. But then you're going to walk up to a sandwich, and then it flies and somehow kills you because it glitched out.
Oh, man. That's my favorite part of Bethesda games is the day one glitch. They actually said there was an interview, right, where they said that like this game has fewer bugs than any of the games that Bethesda has launched.
They say that every time.
You know, I don't know. Like, the thing is, at this point, that doesn't even make me mad because it's just like, I'm used to that shit. I expect it.
I'm not mad about it either, but it's the only thing that worries me because I'm worried that the internet will turn on it pretty quickly because of it.
Well, the internet's always going to turn on everything because the internet hates everything.
Because first impressions are big nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that every game is now okay. That okay is not nearly good enough anymore.
Yep. I don't know. I also really love the fact that you can go inside of your ship and like the modules that you put on it are reflected on the inside of it. So it's like modular and stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just like there's not a lot that I can say that I dislike about what I've seen of Starfield. I normally I'm a little bit more critical about stuff, but the idea that you're just going to take all of the experience you have, like it seems like they've learned from the Fallout 4 dialogue system because we've seen dialogue that is not that, right? Yeah. I'll be honest. If fucking what's his face in Fallout 4 was asking me to build settlements on moons and not just like trash shanties, I would be better. Well, they even showed the settlement building. You can now do top down, right? You don't have to do it like third person, all jankified, right? So
yeah, they really learned their lessons a lot, and they took the feedback from the last Fallout game because a lot of people didn't like Fallout 4.
Yep,
and for good reason for the most part. But they took a lot of that to heart.
And I'm sure this game is also going to have a shitload of like DLCs and expansions and shit too. So
100%. And it's going to come to your Alexa and everything. It's going to be a whole thing.
Yep. So,
There's the lady.
Jamie Mallory.
She keeps looking away, too, because she knows what she's saying is batshit insane.
She knows what she's done. She kind of reminds me of Nina Struthers. Like,
yeah, she kind of does. Yeah, actually, I get that.
She's got some of that Nina Struthers energy. I want her to just curse at me.
Her body movements are much more like, I shouldn't be here kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else? I think we kind of wrung it out, right?
It's got some romance stuff in it. You want to bang a dude in a cowboy hat?
Sure.
Good luck. You can do that, apparently.
Go for it.
So, yeah.
Have a good time. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Ubisoft.
Yes. Ubisoft.
Okay. I don't want to make too many bad noises because
there's some stuff in here that's worth it.
90% of this conference is pure, unadulterated garbage, and the last 10% actually made me excited for once in my goddamn life.
You're not excited about Just Dance, Jeff?
No. No, wait. Hold on. I forgot about Prince of Persia. 85% is garbage, and 15% is okay. Okay, we started with Just Dance. I don't give a shit about Just Dance. Whatever.
I'm just very excited for the people who were dancing because they were very excited.
Yep.
But I was laughing at the crowd because they did the slow clap.
This is... oh God! Yeah, wait until we get to Ari Shankar.
It was really funny.
Claps.
It was really because it reminded me of the Devolver audience.
Yeah,
but they were real.
Yeah,
it was so funny to me.
The what was that? I heard that. I was listening to Triple Click. This is brief time. I was listening to Triple Click. They were talking. Jason Schreier is out there right now. And he talked about how at the Summer Games Fest, when they showed that clip from Twisted Metal, that like. Nobody laughed.
Nobody reacted
at all. And they came back and nobody was clapping and everybody was just stone. And they were like, okay. Because they really expected people to be like, oh, I love it. So
yeah, when I'm watching that clip, there's no way.
I'm still going to watch it. I pay for Peacock. I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm still going to watch it, but that clip was not very good.
Okay, Just Dance. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Fucking the Olympic Just Dance team is here or something.
I don't know.
Care.
Good for them.
All right, so we finally got our second fucking Avatar game of all time.
Of all time.
The first
one of those games of all time. Yes.
The first Avatar game I remember was very big on 3D glasses with your 3D television. That was a big fucking thing. This one, okay, so you're like some kind of war navvy that was trained by the evil space marines, and then like something happened and they left. They put you in cryo, and then you come out. You got to go find your people, and then you got to do all that navvy shit. You got to shoot the evil mechs. You got, one of the problems that I have with Avatar.
Go on, Jeff.
One of the many problems that I have with Avatar is that, like, okay, listen, I'm not saying I'm a human. I know that I watched somebody hit one of my neighbors with a car last week, okay? Like,
I don't know how that's relevant to blue people.
No, like bad stuff happens. The corporation in Avatar is cartoonishly evil.
Yes.
They're just like, well, okay, we're going to set up a factory. And it's like, oh, okay, where should we put the black sludge that comes when we make the unobtainium? They're like, just shoot it on the ground over there. Just dump it directly into the river on the planet with the sentient life forms that have bows and arrows and like to kill us if we fuck up their trees. Just no, dump it right in the river. Like, well, okay, should we take these materials off planet because we obviously have space travel and like refine them in orbit where we can like make the smoke go into space? They're like, no. Point the smokestack at their sacred tree. Also, point the latrines at their sacred tree. I want everything routed to the sacred tree. And I'm like, guys,
I assume they're led by Gargamel because he really hates blue people.
Like you'd think that after the actions of the first Avatar, they would be like, okay, well, let's just like be a little cooler about this. Like, there are people that live in towns that have factories in them that
don't do this insane about a shit.
And they don't have to have like mechs guarding the factories and like blue cat child soldiers guarding their factories in case the local residents of Topeka rise up to shoot at them with bows and arrows.
I'd watch that though. No, but yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, because I didn't know what was going on in it. They're like, yeah, because the plot is that they kidnap blue people.
Yep.
Teach them how to shoot guns.
Yep.
And then the first movie happens, I guess.
Yep.
And they're like, kill all the blue kids. And then they're not. And then they have to learn how to be Na'vi people. And then I read some stuff about what they did with it. And it just doesn't sound all that interesting, really.
It's Far Cry.
Basically. Because it's all first person for the most part, unless you're riding something.
Yep.
And it missed its window for releasing when the movie came out.
Yep.
Because I remember the original launch time was the same year the movie came out.
Yep.
But they completely missed it. And
so
every time I look at footage of it, it is even more unimpressive because of how good the movie's animation looks.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't like. Okay, I can't do this anymore. I hate this franchise. Like it's so uninteresting. It's like Chinese white people food TikTok uninteresting to me. Where I'm just like,
there's no spice, Joe.
There's no spice to it. It's just like, what if there was a purple jungle and a bunch of blue cat people were in it, and all of the humans were the most. And I'm not even like, I'm not doing like, oh, pro humanity, right, or anything.
No, that's not what this is about.
It's just like, well, this is boring. This is stupid. Yeah. You're just going to run around. You're going to blow up a bunch of factories. Then you're going to bring back the land so you can drink the fucking the fruit juice that gives you +2 to hit people with a spear. And you're going to ride on your pterodactyl through the purple jungle. And I just could not give less of a shit. Like in a lot of ways, this is similar to what I was just describing with Starfield. But because it's the blue cat people, I just don't care. Like, they're so uninteresting to me. I don't like the way they look. I don't like their dumb bows and arrows. I think their pterodactyls look like shit. I think their world looks like shit. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do anything there. People are like, oh, man, I've got PTSD because I want to live on Pandora. And I'm just like, Jesus, why? It looks terrible.
Yeah, that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard about
But there's floating rocks. I'm like, okay, but why is that cool? I
don't understand it, but... the only thing I'm interested in about this game is not the game itself.
God, I hate Pandora.
I can tell. You've gotten very heated about two very specific things that I did not anticipate you to be as heated about. Is what I'm interested in is, will the weird fandom of Avatar translate into sales?
Very possibly,
because I know for a while the internet was very much like, there's no cultural impact for the series. And I still somewhat feel that way, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that the general audience seems to really like the idea of the blue cat people enough to watch them a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of those people play games.
It's a lot easier to watch a 3-hour movie than it is to like invest in playing the game.
Well, they also
like,
have to invest in whatever console they're going to get it for.
Yeah.
And if they're really a big fan of Avatar, they're going to buy the fanciest ones.
Right.
So they can get that much more immersed into it. But those are the crazy people. So I don't know about the general audience. Because it's like me with Ghostbusters. I'll buy damn near any Ghostbusters game.
That's true.
Whereas, like, I know there are people like that for this series, but I don't know a ton of them in real life. So I don't know. I think this looks like garbage, and it looks like a game.
It looks boring. Like I don't know why you would do this. But fine, that's cool. Do whatever, man.
Yeah, most of what they showed right now is a lot of sludge things.
It's like, you can also use machine guns because you were raised in the military child soldier camp.
If you don't want to go Rambo, you can go other Rambo.
There's like rocket launchers. It appears that every bad guy in the game is a person in a mech suit or a person in a VTOL assault chopper gunship thing. Yeah. Like they don't show like a Navi pick a man up and like rip his head off, because that would be interesting.
That would be.
Like at one point they show the character like jump up onto a mech suit, grab the guy inside, and then just like throw him behind them. But like, I don't know what happened to that guy. I mean, I don't
probably
know.
Just ran off.
At least in Far Cry, I get to like shoot people and then they die. I don't know. I can't take this shit seriously. So anyway, I should stop shitting on it because somebody's just getting madder and madder, and I did. It's not my intention. It's my podcast where I talk about what I feel, and that's how I feel. God damn it.
That's how he feels.
Sorry, I forgot how lame this conference is. Defiant X, was that
XDefiant?
XDefiant, the Tom Clancy hero shooter. Now that hero shooters are dead,
yes.
Now that the Tom Clancy franchise is mostly wrung out like a sponge, they show a bunch of live streamers yelling at the top of their lungs about how fun and awesome this game is that they're playing, and then it looks like Call of Duty.
It looks like any other shooter.
It looks like Call of Duty meets Counter-Strike meets a slight hero shooter. I mean, there's been a hero shooter Call of Duty. It looks like Black Ops 3, basically.
Yeah, basically.
If you told me this was Black Ops 4, I wouldn't know the difference.
Or it's a Rainbow Six Siege expansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's it's just a bunch of guys with machine guns. There's nothing really that interesting about these heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, what if the Division met Rainbow Six met Ghost Recon?
They're all just normal soldier people for the most part, except for I think there's a Splinter Cell in the middle, a Splinter Cell spy in the middle. Yeah, I don't even know if it's supposed to be Sam or not.
No. Anyway, there's another. I don't fucking care. There's like another open beta or something that's happening. Whatever.
June 21st. If anybody actually wants to know.
And there's like unlockable stuff. Oh, God, they've got DedSec in there? Fuck you guys. Don't take the good name of DedSec in vain. I guess I already fucked that up in Watch Dogs 3. So
it's too late, Jeff.
Yeah, anyway, boy. Okay, that new Prince of Persia game, that game looks cool.
It looks great.
It looks great. I love the animation. I like the concept. I like it'll tell you something that they had a little animated intro, and then they brought this guy out to talk about it. And what really pissed me off through this stage show was that they kept cutting back to a close-in shot of the guy
himself
while the footage was happening behind him, and I was like, I don't care about this guy.
It was very weird.
Show me the fucking footage, you guys.
He'd be like, look at this game, and it would like go right on his face.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck, guys?
So yeah, it appears that at this point the titular prince of Persia, has been kidnapped. You're playing as like an elite royal guard that they're going to like rescue this guy, and then like some time shenanigans and some magical dust monsters and all kinds of shit happens. And yeah, it's like a 2D Metroidvania. It looks like it's got some cool like time powers.
You have the dagger, time dagger. But you're doing a lot of cool shit with it.
They got some like Guacamelee style like platforming stuff that looks cool.
Like they showed off this really cool idea where like you can essentially leave like a part of yourself behind, and then rewind back to it to avoid damage and stuff.
Yep.
There's a lot of really creative ways to do things in this game.
Absolutely. it looks really good too. Like it looks fantastic.
Yeah, like the guy what keeps cutting to.
You know what kind of reminds me of is it kind of reminds me of like Metroid Dread in a way, where it's like,
I can see that.
Oh, we took an idea and then we just like did something simple and fun with it, as opposed to like fucking around and being like, yeah, we're gonna remake Prince of Persia. I mean, we're not. I mean, we are. I mean, we're not. I mean, when we close that studio, it's like, what?
Well, the other thing it reminds me of is the way that Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate was.
Yeah.
Where it was a lot of like sort of an action-y side-scroller, a Metroidvania game.
Part of me wonders, Michael, whether this was supposed to release at the same time, kind of like Bionic Commando Rearmed.
Oh, 100%.
And that they've had to start over with Sands of Time remake, and so they're just like,
because they announced that Sands of Time remake, what, 3 years ago? Something like that?
I think it was 2020, 2019.
Yeah, something real early.
Something like that.
And a lot of remakes usually don't take that long.
Yep.
So
something bad happened there.
100%.
Like the KOTOR remake that we haven't.
Yeah, oh shit.
Nowhere.
And that's being made here. Or it was being made here.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
That shit got fucking axed. But yeah, I'm super duper duper excited. This is like, there's always a couple of Ubisoft things that I'm actually excited for, and this is definitely one of them. So yeah.
This fucking thing.
Then Ari Shankar came out in his cyber glasses. Nobody would clap for him. Nobody would clap for any of his tee-ups. He was wearing some kind of weird jumpsuit with a lot of electrical tape on it. That
he really wanted to go for this weird aesthetic.
His mom made for him at some point. He's making an animated Blood Dragon remix. I'm not even going to talk about the jokes because they all fell flat.
Well, when we were messaging each other about it, and we're like, this is the most awkward thing I've seen at one of these since Jamie Kennedy did that E3 years ago. Because holy shit, like no one was excited about anything he was talking about until he showed off the trailer.
Yep.
And even then, the trailer's okay.
Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, looks like the sort of fan service that makes me want to stab myself in the balls.
Like it's got a potential, because I love the Far Cry Dragon, the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon sense of humor and stuff, but it looks like they've mixed in other Ubisoft titles in here.
It looks
which
like
is why
it's
it's very
itself
confusing.
Too seriously, like
it's hard to tell really, because a lot of it's montage stuff.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like it's more of a 90s throwback is the other thing he said about it.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because the thing that was fun about Blood Dragon, it was all 80s throwback stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know.
It's going to be on Netflix. I did like the kaiju raving rabbit that comes through at one point.
Yes, that was a fun idea.
But then they cut over to the little lizard guy in the Assassin's Creed costume, and I was like, I don't want that.
There's a bit too much obvious things going on with some of it.
Yeah. It's coming to Netflix. What, later this year?
Fall.
Okay. The Division Resurgence is a phone game, and I don't care about it. So
this is a weird fucking thing that happened right after it, though.
And then, do we want to show Sea of Thieves, the game that's been in development for years, the game that's had a trouble development that we haven't shown that much of, and
no.
everybody's very worried about? No. What if we got a hipster band to sing a sea shanty in front of footage of it? Does that sound good to everybody?
It was so funny to me. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, they're going to show off the fucking, you forgot Blood, Skull and Bones.
Yep.
And then it's just going to sing a sea shanty. And some of them don't even look like they are part of the band.
Yep.
It's just fucking weird.
It's very weird.
Very strange.
It's very weird.
Like, I would be interested if they showed up in pirate outfits, but they don't even do that.
Yep.
They look like dudes I would see at a coffee shop down the road.
Yep.
It's like, Jesus, guys.
I think I've seen this band during South by Southwest, actually.
Well, you might have seen them waiting your table, is what you actually mean. No, it's, I don't know. It's a nice sea shanty. I'll give them that.
No.
There's nothing going. Like, everything about that game keeps fucking up. Like, I heard about the thing with its open beta or whatever, which is just another whole fucking thing.
I feel like they. I think at some point they were like, well, we've done the market research, and it's like, okay, well, what percentage of people are excited about Skull and Bones? And they're like, 1. Like 100? No, 1. And they're like, oh, what can we do to bring that number up? And they're like, nothing. We spent $2 million, and there's no way to get people excited about this game. And they're like, okay, well, what's the minimal amount of things we can do to get this game out the door? And they're like, yeah.
Well, Jeff, you have to remember, there's another guy in the background going, I was on TikTok and people like she shanties.
Right.
And then that's what they did.
Right. We got a montage of Anno's getting an expansion for Honor, Trackmania, Mario Rabbids. I do like the fact that Mario Rabbids is getting DLC. Mario Rabbids 2 is getting DLC. Roller Champions is getting Jet Set Radio. Master Chief is in Brawlhalla. Rocksmith is a thing. The Crew. Riders Republic is getting skateboards. I do like the fact that the third DLC for Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope is Rayman, actual Rayman.
I appreciate seeing Rayman again, but also looking like he's already tired of the Rabbids shit again.
I like Rabid Peach, so I like this Rabid Peach doesn't understand Rayman's floating hands joke, but I don't want to actually play this.
It's crazy to me that the Rabbids started off as this weird little fucking game for Rayman.
Yep.
And now they're more popular than he is.
Yep. Is this the Crew?
Yeah, this is the Crew.
The Crew Motorfest. I actually was thinking about it, Michael, and I'm not a fan of the Crew. I'm not a fan of whatever the. I mean, I'm not a racing game guy. It's kind of smart if this is their Forza Horizon, right? Because Forza's going back to the track.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo's on the track. So if this is like a kind of a globe-trotting, like big kind of festival party type of thing, that makes a certain amount of sense. I guess the Crew must sell some amount, or else they wouldn't keep making the Crew.
They're actually apparently really popular. Because I actually made that exact joke with somebody I was hanging out with one of my old high school friends, and he was like, "No, people actually really like the Crew."
Oh, there you go.
Let's go. Okay, well, good for them then.
Yeah.
I just wish they didn't spend so much time on it.
Very true.
Because a lot of it presentation was on them for some reason.
Very, very true. Assassin's Creed VR to me seems like a recipe for vomit.
Oh, 100%.
Like
showing them jumping around and shit. It's all cinematic stuff too, by the way. This is gameplay, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know, it's going to look like garbage when you actually play it.
Oh, 100%.
It's going to be all like low poly and low rent stuff. Yeah.
Also, is it me or does Ezio look weird?
Everything looks weird. Everything that Ubisoft makes at this point looks really weird to me. It all looks off somehow. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. I'd like to see a demo where somebody doesn't throw up before I think about engaging with this, because it just looks like a way to make yourself sick with all the, because they want to do all the platforming, like, you know, the jumping and going across roofs and stuff, and it's like, that shit's gonna make you fucking bleh.
Dude, I got woozy playing the Resident Evil 4 VR.
Yeah,
like because I tried doing it to where it didn't do the that sort of flash of black when you turn.
Oh, the blink? Yeah.
Yeah, and I immediately got sick. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And all I was doing was walking.
Assassin's Creed codename Jade.
The phone game, yeah.
Oh, is this the phone one?
Yeah, the codename Jade is the phone one.
Oh, okay.
Because it's in China.
Okay. Yeah, boo. I don't care.
It sucks because everybody wants like a game in China. And they're like, we got it on the phone. You're like, fuck you guys.
Wait, there was another one they announced though, right? That was the Japanese one that's in their like weird.
I think it was also a phone game.
No, I think it was in their like free to play hub thing that they're doing.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think so.
I
think
remember
it was like
being
a
another one.
module for that.
Oh god.
Then they showed Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage. I watched a 4K trailer of this as opposed to the 1080p stream, and it looked a little better, but I think I figure. I mean, I'm a stupid idiot. Okay, I'm a stupid asshole. Okay, all right. I keep going like, why does this game look so old? And the reason it looks so old is because it started life as an Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansion. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a PS4 game. Like,
oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And so like it hasn't been built from the ground up on like new tech. It's being used with their old engine that they've like polished the edges of as much as they can, but still it looks outdated. It looks old. It actually, to be honest, like when they show the gameplay from it, I prefer what they're showing because it's old Assassin's Creed, right?
It's the Assassin's Creed I liked.
Yeah. Where you're like, you know, free climbing and sneaking in, and you don't have to check somebody's level before you stab them in the fucking face.
Exactly.
And I like the throwback. And who knows? Maybe when I get it on my PlayStation, it'll look great. And I'm just being a negative Nandor about all this. But
did they mention the filter during this thing?
No, we can talk about that. I put it in the thing. There's an Assassin's Creed 2 filter that makes it all blue and gray tinted, like everything on the PlayStation was.
That was very weird to do, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they show kind of a little gameplay demo where everything looks like an old Assassin's Creed game. Like, it all looks like you're blending into the crowd. You're using the bird. Well, I like the part where they use the bird and then somebody shoots the bird, and so you've got to go take out the guy that would shoot the bird in order to, like, see who's there. I like the... You know what I like? I'm going to say stuff I like now. I like the fact that when they use the bird... You don't have to manually, individually mark targets.
That was a really nice thing.
That just lights them up. I like all the weird tool shit. The only thing that was missing from this is being able to make a noise and have some guy that you hired in Chapter 3 jump out of the bushes and stab a guy.
That was a fun time. I was a big fan of that.
So who knows? Maybe when I get this in my hands, it'll be like, oh yeah, I remember when Assassin's Creed was like this, and this is fun as hell. But like looking at it doesn't do very much for me.
No, that's the unfortunate thing about it. But I hope it does well to prove that there's still a market for old Assassin's Creed type things.
Yep.
Also, because Ubisoft probably needs money too.
Also, I think it's a little bit. I mean, this is such a weird. Like, this isn't a big complaint, right? This is just an aesthetic thing. I don't like the fact that Basim's outfit in this demo is like Altair's from AC1, where it's all white. Like, there's no splashes of color to differentiate it. It's just all. It's like he's wearing a bed sheet.
So yeah, that's actually the one thing. That's one of the few things I'm actually really cool with. Yeah, actually, because it is such an old throwback. That he's just an old assassin outfit.
I also thought it was really weird. There's a part where he like does the other thing I could think about that was like this was, do you remember in Splinter Cell Rogue Agent, or which one was the one where he's not in the
I think that's Rogue Agent, yeah.
Where you could mark and then execute, where you could like tag people and then he would just go like pew, 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 and shoot them. There's a thing where it's like the Basim does that where he marks 3 people. But then he just like teleports to them, like he has magic powers. Like,
he's doing it here.
Like this part, so he marks like he goes in like slow mo, marks 3 characters, and then when he executes, it's like he jumps to one, but then he just like teleports to the next one with like weird animus powers or something.
I think the idea of it is that like he still does the normal things. It's just that it looks to the player that he's like teleporting.
Okay, well,
probably at the same time or something.
I don't know. It's a little weird.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Again, this is all people forget. All of this is inside of a machine.
Yeah,
I remember that used to be a big secret when the first one came out.
Oh, yeah, the Animus.
Yeah, they never showed any of the future stuff. It was all Animus stuff.
Who knows, man? I don't know. Like I'm kind of like okay. Let's put it this way. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I could very well be pleasantly surprised when this comes out. Yeah. I've just been so disappointed by so much of AC that I'm not willing to invest in pre-excitement because
I've just been disappointed by Ubisoft in general.
Yeah, because
that's the only reason I'm very iffy on the idea.
Yeah. And then, however, I will tell you right now, Michael. We put Star Wars Outlaws in the icebox, and now it's time to open it up and knock the frost off and put it in the microwave for a few minutes to defrost it.
That guy made me laugh because everybody was clapping. He's like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut up! See the shit or not?
do you want to watch this demo or not?" Here, in fact, I want to do this. I don't want to watch this in their thing. I want to watch the 4K version.
Just made me crack up. He's like, "I know why you're here. Don't you fucking pretend to like me."
I really wish sometimes that they would do these streams in a higher resolution because like the shit looks better in a higher resolution.
Of course.
Okay, here we go, Michael. I think this looks great.
I think it looks fantastic.
I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Like I kept wanting. I'll be honest. I kept wanting to be like, where are the flaws? I don't want to like this. And everything I saw looked great. It appears to be a third-person action game with a lady kind of Han Solo, like roguish bounty hunter. She's got a little fuzzy axolotl cat dog thing.
She's a rogue. She's a scoundrel.
She kind of looks like Ripley from Aliens a little bit with her haircut.
Can see that. She's got some Dash Rendar shit going on in her life.
Dash Rendar. Hey, you know what? It's not a Jedi. Of course, the funny thing, right, is somebody I heard this pointed out before, but I'd already thought of it. It's like Wait, wasn't the last Star Wars game a third-person action game where you play as like a single character with kind of like a little pet that helps you do stuff, and then you like wander around between different planets and an open world kind of doing stuff, and it's like, yep, so's this one, but there's no lightsabers.
He was a Jedi though, and a guy.
Yeah,
so which is a whole other thing.
I like the fact that you can like sneak through here again, like. Okay, if you look at this and then you go back and look at Assassin's Creed Mirage, like the graphical fidelity is just like off the charts better.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
And I feel like that a lot about Ubisoft lately.
Yeah.
Like this is the nicest thing I've seen Ubisoft make in quite some time.
Yeah, this is the best looking game of this entire presentation. I like the fact that you can direct your little axolotl guy to like hit up, like they show kind of using them to like move a crate so that you can like stealth around somebody, but then when the character gets spotted, it turns into like a big Star Wars gunfight. It looks like there's like a little menu where you can switch between different like gun modes, like focus fire and regular fire. There's a kind of a BioShock Infinite part where the little pet goes and grabs a gun, like a heavy rifle, and then brings it back. Yeah, I mean, like, all this is great. Like, this is what I've wanted out of a Star Wars game for a while now.
100%. Like, it just looks like a lot of fun. Like an actual blaster shooting game.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, I have to hold down the thing and use my lightsaber to charge up my gun. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. But
like,
sure.
Like, you know, there was a reason that we all wanted to play Star Wars 1313, and then we're bummed out when it was like canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be nice to play a game that was just like, you know, where you weren't a fucking space wizard, where you're just a person doing stuff.
It's the part of Star Wars that I don't understand why more people don't explore.
Right.
It's the like there's so much going on in the entire galaxy, and they keep going, what if he had a laser sword? And like, stop it. Stop doing that.
And I'm not saying like
which is why I'm still bummed about Star Wars Solo not doing very well when it came out.
Yeah.
Because that means they easily could have done more with that.
Also, our character here has a grappling hook that they can throw like mid-jump, which is something that happens in Jedi Survivor. But then there's a speeder chase in the open world. I like that. I like the kind of, there's like a little part where they show like locking on and then like shooting, so you don't have to like manually shoot at people. I think the open world stuff looks very nice. The main character, Kay Vess, is that her name? Has like a surly droid that wears a jacket companion.
He looks fucking badass as shit, by the way.
He's got a big rip on his chest, a big hole in his chest.
What I appreciate about all of this is that it is obviously gameplay.
Yep.
Because there's never a moment where she's just like doing overly exaggerated like movements while driving.
Yep.
And it's all very real looking. Like by that I mean game wise. And I really appreciate that immensely.
And you know what? I like the fact that they show, because the character is stealing something from the Vike Syndicate, and they show when they get away, like there's a little down arrow, like your cachet with that faction went down, and then like after they get away, back to this little like it's like Dust Bowl town. Wait a minute. Is that he's got like almost like a battle droid head, but it's shorter?
Yeah, because he's a separatist droid.
Oh, okay.
He's like one of the fancier battle droids.
Okay.
But he's like clearly reprogrammed in some way.
I just like the fact that he's wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
He's a droid with clothes on, and I'm just like, that tickles me. I don't know.
Personality, and I appreciate that immensely about him.
Yeah. So then in this 10-minute demo, the main character goes in to give like what they stole over to this Akbar lady, and there's like an Imperial there.
Mon something?
Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
Good job, George.
Who could have come up with such a name?
Except that the people with the squid faces are called Quarians. So, like, wait, what? Shouldn't they be the Mon Calamari?
He made one before the other.
Yep.
That's clearly what happened.
And then the Imperial is like, you got to give me half of your bounty for like taxes, and you get a choice whether you want to do that or whether you want to pull a gun on them.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. Like, I'm really interested to know, Michael. Like, okay, here's two questions. If you sneak out of that place at the very beginning and nobody sees you, does your reputation with the Vike Syndicate stay the same and not go down if you don't fight them, right?
Yeah.
But you stole from them. And what does this look like if you just pay the Imperial, because after they say no, I'm not going to pay the tax. She pulls a gun on the Imperial. The Imperial reaches in her pocket, pulls out a communicator, and then when you leave, like fucking calls the space cops on you, and is like, this big wanted comes up on the screen,
which is really cool, to be honest.
And what I thought was really interesting is that, like, if I'm reading this right, it seems like when the wanted comes up, okay, so wanted comes up, the character starts running for the spaceport, you see a shadow go overhead, and an Imperial shuttle lands. And I'm wondering if they didn't just immediately run here, if that shuttle was just going to, like, pump out stormtroopers that you were gonna have to get in a fight with.
I think that's the idea, because of the fact that, like, you definitely see it land.
Yeah.
And she's going through all the motions of, like, turning on all the the menu stuff.
Right.
Like, it feels like you could just, like, get up and walk out and then just get into a fight if you wanted to.
Right.
But this is probably the easiest way to get away from them.
They definitely had a No Man's Sky. You take off and then, like, go up through the atmosphere to get to space. Like,
that was so nice. I was so happy. Like, it's clear that the clouds are hiding the loading idea.
Right.
But the fact that you don't have to worry about a load screen is what's really cool about it.
Is one of the things that was kind of missing for Starfield. I don't think you can do that in Starfield. I think you just jump to space, right?
I think it has, like, a cutscene of you flying out.
Right.
Where this is, like, you get in and then you fly out yourself.
And then I like the fact that, like, they're in space and then, like, a bunch of TIE fighters show up and they got to get in a space battle, and okay, we're doing space shit now. Which is, if I understand correctly, you played all the way through Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
I mean, there was, like, that one kind of QTE segment. No, it wasn't QTE. It was just a cutscene.
It was just a cutscene.
Where you're escaping from Coruscant, but you don't do any space combat in that game, right?
No, it's all cutscene stuff. Like, the only battle stuff you do is all, like, fighting directly.
But
there might be a QTE here and there, but it's nothing like involving the ship.
I like flying through this. I like the fact that they have to get far enough away to kick in the hyperdrive, and that they're almost kicking in the hyperdrive, and then, like, another ship pulls in and they have to do a dodge where they have to recalibrate the hyperdrive.
There's so much cool shit going on.
And then jump into hyperdrive. I like the fact that when she runs into the ship, you have to go through the ship to, like, where the cockpit is. So it's like, that's your base, kind of. Everything about this is great. It's like, oh, what if... what pisses me off about this is that I go, do you mean to tell me that Massive Entertainment is this fucking good, and you've had them making Skinner box Tom Clancy games for 5 fucking years? Like, we could have had this instead of your bullshit fucking, like, oh, it turns out there's a bunch of secret agents that have to come online and shoot people in hoodies if the money makes everybody sick. This looks great. This looks fantastic. I super duper want to play this.
This is the type of game that I'm glad is happening, because EA was like, they had this license, they did nothing with it. They did not, like, we could have been having Star Wars games like this the whole time.
Yeah.
And that frustrates me.
They canceled 2 of them at least.
They did.
Like Star Wars 1313 and the one that what's her face was making.
Yeah. She was very adamant about making it kind of like this.
Yeah.
And it just didn't fucking work out for her. And I'm very happy of the time frame this is too, because a lot of the Star Wars games we've been getting lately are all, like, prequel stuff.
Yeah. And
this one takes place directly between Empire and Return, and I think that's really cool, because very few things do that too.
Sure. Yeah. I love this montage where they show, like, obviously you're in, like, it's like a Star Destroyer or something, like you're sneaking into, like, a big Imperial base. It looks like their action montage is solid. All the different planets they show is solid.
It looks fucking great, guys.
It all looks very, very cool. And yeah, I'm more optimistic than not. I still have a little bit of reservation in my heart, because I'm like, how are you guys going to fuck this up? Is it going to be like expansion pack clothes? Are you going to charge for, like, ammo or something? Like, what's going to happen?
They're going to fuck up something. It's Ubisoft, but I have enough faith that the game will at least be fun enough that one playthrough is going to be fun.
The thing is that this could be, my hope. The only hope that I have right now for Ubisoft, right, is that this game sells better than all the rest of that bullshit that I just got done slogging through in my hip waders to get to this one fucking exciting thing that's happening here, and that Ubisoft will learn the lesson of, like, oh, we can make more money by making quality-ass video games than just by churning out Season 8. There was a trailer for the latest season of For Honor. For Honor should not still be a thing, okay? Like, I'm sorry, people who like For Honor.
Yeah, I was about to say, no offense to the For Honor fans out there.
I like that game, but no, it's been going for too fucking long. Like,
good for you guys.
Anyway, this looks great. Again, this is great. This is great. I super duper duper want to play it.
Yep, same.
Shit. Well, Michael, I think we got to take another break.
I feel like we could do Capcom in 5 seconds.
You think so?
We have like one actual thing to talk about, or 2 actual things to talk about.
Well,
or 3 maybe at tops.
We're at 55 minutes. I feel like it's gonna spiral out of control.
Fine, because I'll probably say a lot of shit about one of them specifically.
Yeah, I feel like I know that there's at least 2 things in here that you're going to be super duper duper excited about.
Well, there's one that I'm very excited about. So
okay, all right. This is the rare 3-part podcast, you guys. It only happens once a fucking year. Yep. They put out every goddamn thing on the same day. There was no reason. No,
there wasn't.
They could have waited a week. They could have put out their Ubisoft thing next week, and then all of their Star Wars stuff wouldn't have gotten overwritten by Starfield stuff. You would have had the hashtag star on Twitter would have been all yours.
Oh, 100%.
Superstar. Think about it, you guys. And then also come back in a minute for more podcasts. And we're back again. It's the 3rd part. We got a little bit left to go.
We're almost there, guys.
Yep, we're getting close. We're not doing all the PC gaming show in depth. There are just a couple of things in there that I thought were interesting that we can take a look at. But before we get to that, Capcom had an incredibly redundant quote-unquote show.
Yes. The showcase.
Yeah.
Capcom.
So we started with Path of the Goddess, which we we got to open up the freezer and take that out too. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what the fuck is going on here. Like, I'm gonna need a little bit more information, Capcom.
I'm not either. Like, it's Capcom does this weird thing where they'll show the trailer and they'll just talk about it for like a minute.
Yeah.
But I didn't get anything from it, from all the new stuff they said at least.
The thing is that
because the showcase just showed it as this like clearly this sort of third-person action-y type thing.
Yeah.
But that's all we got from it.
But it was also a little bit zoomed out. Like, it almost seemed like it was like almost like getting towards like an ARPG like viewpoint as opposed to like a kind of Resident Evil behind the back or Onimusha behind the back kind of thing.
Well, yeah, because there's some stuff where it's like it's clear that he saves some people.
Yeah.
That are covered in demon stuff.
Yeah.
But like we just don't really know what's happening.
It almost seems like there could also be something where I mean I like this mechanic where he like is running his sword along the ground and like the fingers are unfolding.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. It's very strange.
A lot of people in masks.
Well, yeah, everybody's got a mask on. It seems like there is a you might be like saving people and then recruiting them type of thing.
That's what some of it seems like.
There's some definite demon monsters. It's really weird. It's just a very strange thing. It's kind of hard to describe.
It's really strange. It's like this. It's like a bunch of yokais attacking.
Yeah,
but I don't really understand what is happening with it.
There's also like kaleidoscope stuff and these like big bright colors in certain places and this very weird kind of color scheme. And there's like there's parts where you're seeing like multiple characters like doing stuff, and it's unclear whether that's like. Yeah, what the fuck? Is this like Devil May Cry or is like what is this?
That's the thing. Like I thought it was like an Onimusha like spin-off or something, but it's not. Like there's no branding for it in any shape or form. But it feels like it would have been if they just added a couple things.
Yeah, it's really it's very striking and it's very strange. I don't know. It's a little bit like discordant, like the visuals of it. Like there's so much going on, like in so many different colors that it's a lot of times I feel like my brain starts to shut off a little bit. It just kind of seems like yokai noise to me. Like
well, there's just a lot of weird shit going on in it, like just weird visuals, the way he runs through that area with the sword down, and then does like a slash on a door. And then stuff like disappears after a certain point. I don't know. Like I just don't know a lot about what's going on in it.
Yeah. I think this is one of those ones where, like, I mean, the thing is that Capcom has had a pretty good track record recently, so I'm like tentatively interested. I just need to know more about like what in the fuck is this Capcom?
Yeah,
like,
I'm interested in new IPs, and I'm interested enough to find out what more.
Yeah. So show me more, Capcom. If you guys don't understand what we're saying, go watch the trailer. You'll be just as confused as we are.
Yeah.
So from there we got Mega Man X Dive Offline. It's so funny because I looked at this and then I looked this up, Michael. So Mega Man X Dive already exists.
Like, it was a gacha game.
Yeah, it's a gacha game. It's on phones and it's on Steam. Like, it came out several years ago on Steam.
Yeah.
As near as I can tell, what this is that they are going to shut down the servers for the gacha game, and that's why it's offline.
Yeah.
Is that they're just converting it into like basically a gacha single player game that you can play.
Apparently, there's like guest characters, because I was on Twitter and people are wondering if the guest characters will be on it or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People are more excited about the fact that since it's going to be offline, they can rip the models.
Oh.
So they can use them for dumb shit.
Yeah.
And they're very excited about that.
I saw a few because I looked it up on Steam because I was just like, what the fuck is this? And the reviews for it were very mixed, because one of the things that a lot of people said was the fact that there's an option where Mega Man can like auto lock onto stuff and shoot regardless of what plane it's on, like 360 degrees, which seems like very not on brand for Mega Man.
Also kind of OP.
Yeah. But I'm sure that there are some people that are just like super duper duper into this game, like really, really big into it.
Yeah, because it still technically plays like a normal Mega Man game. It's just that it's like it's a remix of different levels, and stuff. It just happens to be a gacha game,
and it's got all these like unlocks and like upgrades and stuff to let you do stuff. You can see there where it's like shooting at angles, right?
Which is fucking weird as shit to me.
It's very strange as a Mega Man game. It's got, like I said, it's got a mixed reputation. I guess I wonder if they're going to be. I mean, since this is like offline, I would assume they're going to be charging. That it'll be like a paid game as opposed to like free to play. I'm also just not that into Mega Man to the point where this is like, yeah, man, I'll play whatever. You put Mega Man on there, I'll play whatever the fuck you put out. So,
yeah, I just wished Mega Man X had like a normal game again.
Yes, exactly.
The same with the way Mega Man 11 happened.
Where's Mega Man 11? Come on, guys, just make Mega Man 11.
Well, they already made Mega Man 11.
Or what was the one that was the 3D one?
11.
Oh, okay. 12. Then make 12. 12.
We've had this conversation before. 10 was the Pixel one.
Michael, we're on hour 3. Okay, I maintain all the warranties for Rage Select are expired. Lucidity is out the window. There's going to be a lot of stories you've already heard. There might be some slurring. I can't make any promises. Street Fighter 6 is a thing, and there's a tournament.
$1 million, guys.
Yep.
$1 million.
Premieres the World Warrior, tours, teams, Fridays. Resident Evil 4 has a VR. We already know that.
Yeah, nothing new on that version.
Pragmata.
This is one of the ones I want to talk about.
We haven't heard about Pragmata in years. We had the teaser about the space guy and then the little girl and then the like see-through cat. Was it see-through cat?
Something like that.
Something like that. So we got this trailer with this little girl. The guy's screaming, Diana, Diana. And she's like drawing something. And then he like grabs her and runs away. And the paper falls to the ground. And it has 2022 crossed out with an arrow going to like 2023. And that's like scribbled out. And then it just says like, very sorry. And like a little frowny face. Like there is. And then it's like another arrow that goes to like question mark. So like Pragmata. Who knows?
Yeah, that's because the last thing we got from this game was her writing that paper that said 2020 to 2023.
Oh,
and it was like,
I forgot that.
It was like 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
And it showed nothing.
Yeah.
It was just that. And now we have this really cool montage.
Yep.
And I want to see more. And they don't fucking do that.
Yep. They could have just, I don't care when it comes out, they could have just showed me a little bit more, because it appears to be a game where you're like this astronaut guy and you've got this little girl robot, maybe something is happening on your back. And it's like a third person action game where you're fighting like Terminator robots, and there's all this weird kind of futuristic. It kind of reminds me of Vanquish a little bit.
I can see that.
Very small amount that we've seen. Little girl kind of like powers up at a certain point.
I think it's the armor of the space guy. It's got a very Vanquish look to it.
Yeah, because it's got like a closed face helmet and it's all white. Yeah. this looks rad. I want to see more of it, guys. Like, I don't care what the release date is. Just like, you obviously have enough to show me some footage of this game. Like,
I want to know what this game is.
Yeah.
And you have not said shit in like 3 years.
This is the thing where you could just tell me what it is. Yeah. Why don't you just tell me what Pragmata is about? That's fine. You don't have to guarantee anything to me. Yeah. And then they put out there was a whole fucking thing. It's with a heavy heart that we must further postpone the release of Pragmata. Our team is currently hard at work making the best game we possibly can, but we need more time. We'll continue to do our best to ensure the final product is what. Okay, all right, man. Like,
add it to the list.
Yeah, I understand delays, but like, just tell me what I'm supposed to be getting excited about. Like,
I need to know what this is.
It appears to be a third-person action game where you play as a spaceman that's fighting robots with a little girl. And there's also
maybe
a point,
it's Space Last of Us. I don't fucking know. Tell me what it is.
There's a point where they show. I thought it was interesting. They showed this there's the guy and then the girl and this little robot. And he's wearing like a little hat, like a baseball cap.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Everything that they show in this 3-second montage is great. So I'm just disappointed that I wasn't able to see more.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Talking about Ghost Trick. There's a demo for Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think the fun thing was that the creator of it, Shu Takamai, he practices English so he can do the presentation, and I think that's very sweet.
And he said, I practiced for 2 weeks to do this, so if you ever meet me, talk to me in Japanese, please, because I don't know English.
He's I don't know how to do this. He's it's obvious he's phonetically saying some of these things.
Yeah. Ghost Trick rules. And everybody should play it. Go play the demo, and you'll see why I'm so excited about it. Because this is the one of 2 Ace Attorney games that aren't just Ace Attorney games.
Yeah, it's one of the few games he's made that weren't actually Ace Attorney related.
Yep. And it's coming out the 30th of this month. So
if you guys ever get a chance, just look up Ghost Trick webcomic stuff, and you can find all those old advertisements they did for that too.
There you go.
Those are a lot of fun.
Yeah, they talked about there's some pre-order bonus where you get some background, some fills in the 4x3 sides with some different stuff.
That is kind of fun.
Yeah. And then Michael. All right,
my favorite thing.
All right,
the
Michael.
Only thing I wanted.
Michael got a present. Nobody else. I didn't get any presents from Capcom, but Michael got a Christmas present from Capcom. So, if I'm not mistaken, Capcom remastered and re-released Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3, and then what was it last year that they put out the
they did the great
detective,
the great Ace Attorney games.
Great Ace Attorney games. Yeah. So the 2 of those, and now they're putting out the next 3, the Apollo Justice, and then the 2 that come after that.
Yes, it's Ace Attorney 4 through 6 is the main thing, because they're calling it the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy, but that's not necessarily true.
Well, because Dual Destinies has both of them, and it seems like the third one's just another Phoenix Wright game.
Well, yeah, because there's 3 lawyers in Dual Destinies. It's the third lawyer is like their assistant basically.
Oh, okay.
And then they're both in the third one or the 6th one as well.
Okay.
Except that Phoenix is in a different country with Maya, and then Apollo's in America still.
Okay.
I'm using America to quote their fingers because of translation things.
Phoenix Wright's America.
Yeah. Whereas eat your hamburgers, Apollo, and he's eating sushi. That's my favorite meme about that. But yeah, no, the reason I'm very excited about this is that the 3DS shop closed, last month? And so it would have regulated all 3 of these games to only phones.
Oh.
Because there was no way to buy these after that.
Okay.
And so it seems like Capcom thought ahead, and they're like, well, we'll release all 3 on your consoles now, and because this shit makes us money.
I mean, the thing is that this is great. This means that outside of, I think, the Edgeworth game, the entire Phoenix Wright game collection is available
for the most part
on modern consoles.
There's only one other, but it's a crossover. That's not, the reason I don't count it is because it's a crossover. There's not really an easy way to re-release that one.
Yeah.
And that one actually.
Oh, the Leighton one.
Yeah, the Leighton one. Yeah, because that one's also now just only only on the 3DS now.
Oh,
as far as I know, it's only a 3DS game now.
Okay.
Also, that game's fucking hard because I'm terrible at Professor Layton puzzles.
Yeah. That was that's surprising. I didn't actually until you mentioned it. The last time we saw Capcom, they announced a new Professor Layton game. Not here.
No,
not here at all.
Actually, I don't even know if that was Capcom per se. I don't remember who makes those.
Oh, that's Capcom, wasn't it?
I know who makes them, but I don't know who publishes them. Actually, this is what I mean. Because I think Level 5 is what I want to say who makes them.
I thought it was one of the Capcom things.
That's the thing, is I don't remember. That's the reason I don't think it's easy to re-release the Ace Attorney Professor Layton crossover. Okay, because I think it's supposed to be a different company.
Every time I've played one of these, I've been nothing but impressed at the work that they've done to remaster them. I think they've done a really good job of translating the original Ace Attorney kind of sprite stuff to this like 3D thing that really captures the look of it. They've always been really good about the options, like the throwback ones with Herlock Sholmes had just like a movie mode where you can just watch the stories.
I wonder if they'll do that with this one, because I know the original first three doesn't have that option.
Yeah,
as far as I know. But I'm very excited for these because they're so much fun, and they're not as easy for somebody to play for a while. And they made them a lot easier, especially 5 and 6.
Okay,
because 4 gets really hard at one point because it's like, pay attention to the music differences. I'm like, I am not going to be able to do that.
Shit.
So I remember that was the only time I had to Google something in Ace Attorney. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not going to even try.
Yeah,
but no, they're great. And the funny thing is about the reason I think it's funny that it's called the Apollo Justice Trilogy is Apollo doesn't even do that much shit even in the first game for the main big cases. It's still very much a Phoenix Wright story at the end of the day.
Oh, there you go.
But he's his protege at that point, and he's a fun time.
Yep. So yeah, early 2024. Great. Sounds great. Good job, Capcom.
Very excited.
Go for it. Let's see. Am I?
I hope it has the DLC too, because those games had DLC.
Okay.
The DLC costumes.
Oh yeah, they translated in much different languages.
Oh yeah, because 5 and 6 weren't translated.
Yeah, this Capcom World thing.
So I actually messed with that.
Is it like a website? Just a website?
Yeah, it's a website, and you can play like old games on it.
Yeah.
The problem is it's hard because it's on a keyboard.
Right. Yeah.
And then it lets you connect a controller though.
Yeah. Blarg.
But it's because they're celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Yeah. I don't care about that. About using your Capcom ID for stuff, and one of the things they said was like, "Yeah, you gotta have a Capcom ID to play RE-verse." I'm like, "Is anybody playing RE-verse?"
I laughed out loud when it showed that because I was like, "Oh, RE-verse, that's a thing."
Yep. Michael, what are your feelings about Exoprimal at the moment?
I will try it because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Because every time I see anything on it, I'm like, this doesn't look that interesting. But if I can play it, or if I can try it on Game Pass without having to pay anything, and I have a friend who said he might try it as well.
Yeah,
it gives me a reason to have some idea of it.
The thing is that this one, I sometimes get interested whenever they talk about the story.
Yeah,
but then when they show the gameplay, I'm like, but I don't want to do that. Like that, it looks like just mindless hordes of enemies that you have to shoot, and that's not really my bag, baby.
They also talked about how the fact they're like, yeah, we heard your feedback, and you guys don't want to fight each other.
Right.
So we're probably not going to do that anymore.
Right.
I'm cool with this.
How did you feel about Ryu and Guile mechs for
that's right. That was such a weird fucking thing to do.
Yep.
Especially since they kept their facial hair.
Yep.
It's like, oh, this is just fucking weird.
Ryu mech with a giant machine gun.
Yeah, it made me laugh because I didn't expect it.
I don't know. I'm with you. I'm going to give this a shot. They've already shown a shitload of Exoprimal, and I'm just not getting any more excited. It's like they got my excitement up to like 20%, and then it just, no matter what they show, it won't go above that.
See, the person I want to know what they think is Matt's, though.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard Matt talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he knows it exists.
He knows it exists, but I think he's like, I don't know. I think that he realizes that it's not going to be entirely his bag. But
most likely, yeah.
Mostly because games like
this... Are you going to get
this...
him for it?
Oh, probably. Mostly because games like this they're really repetitive, right? And they're it's kind of like Monster Hunter. Like, I got into the last Monster Hunter, but man, I could never begrudge anybody that was like, that's too much game, I don't want to do that. And I'd be like, yeah, I get that. I think
the main difference between it and Monster Hunter is that I feel like Monster Hunter is enough. There's enough going on in it that doesn't feel like it's that repetitive.
Yeah.
The issue with one of these is that it's the Dynasty Warriors thing, where there's hordes of them.
Yeah.
And then that's when stuff gets repetitive, because then you're like, well, that interesting to fight.
Yeah, I guess you don't fight hordes of anything in Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
so.
everything you fight, you feel like is an actual animal in
Right.
Monster Hunter, and so these live and die by their multiplayers a lot of the time, because it's like Earth Defense Force.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Yep,
but with dinosaurs.
I agree. God, yeah, they talk about this for a long time.
Yeah, the last thing, I think there's just literally only one other thing after this.
Is that yeah.
The Dragon's Dogma.
So it's Dragon's Dogma 2. Pretty sure this is the same trailer that we saw the last time that they talked about Dragon's Dogma 2.
I think the only difference is that he talks more about it.
Yeah. It's kind of like the first one, right? Whatever. Oh, God, I can't even remember the name of that one. It won't stick in my head yet.
The first one, what?
the first game. The
just Dragon's Dogma.
No. Path of the Gods.
Oh, you're talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, where it's like I've seen the trailer, but now you're going to talk over it and explain a few things.
And I was kind of laughing at the way he talks about the companions,
the pawns.
Yeah, he's like, it's like co-op, but not really. And I could picture in my head being like, you lonely fucks who don't have friends. This is the game for you.
Well, that was what the first one was like. So
yeah, but I remember a lot of people wanting there to be multiplayer because of how fun they were.
Yeah,
and it is a shame that they stuck with the idea of there not actually being any multiplayer, because they work the pawns, or whatever they're called, work like the palicos in Monster Hunter.
Sort of.
You recruit ones from other players, is what they said.
Yep.
And so you can have like them with you. So I thought that was kind of weird.
It's okay. I'm going to go to bat a little bit for it because it's kind of an interesting system because you make your own primary pawn. So it's like you make a class and then you create your own pawn that's like your main buddy, right? And then you recruit other ones from other characters, and so it feels like instead of them having to create a bunch of interesting characters, it's like you are choosing from the characters that are other people's primary pawns as your like secondary pawns.
So like the palicos.
Sort of, yes. Yes, sort of. Except that like the palicos loadouts aren't as important as the pawns because you can literally make like mages and fighters and stuff.
No,
so
that's fair.
And they worked really well in the last one because it was like, you got a little army of guys with you, and they feel very distinct and different. They have their own like personalities. I think if you've never played Dragon's Dogma, it's a good system when you get to it.
No, yeah,
so.
And they said they improved the AI quite a bit, so hopefully that works out immensely for this version.
I do like the idea that they talked about, I don't remember in Dragon's Dogma 1, but they talked about using magic to like yank the legs out of a troll, or like doing kind of more kind of on the fly things that are not just like run up and hit the sword button until the guy is dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. And it'd be cool if you could spec, like they show a character, they show like a bridge getting knocked down, and then they show another character like making a new bridge, like generating a bridge. And so if there's characters that are devoted to like non-combat things like that could be really interesting. So
yeah. And you can still high five them. That's fun.
Yeah. So yeah. And also, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure which virus Capcom used to create the RE engine, but everything made in the RE engine looks really good.
Yeah,
so. And
apparently even Ghost Trick has used the RE engine.
Yeah, but yeah, this looks real good. Looks real good. I can't wait to play Dragon's Dogma 2. Shit. Okay. All right. We're not going over everything from the PC Gaming Show. Oh, you know what? Real briefly, Xbox Extendo had, High on Life is getting a DLC called High on Knife that's like horror themed. Lamplighters League, they showed that. That's the one from Harebrained Schemes. We've seen that before. That's like, it's Harebrained Schemes did Shadowrun and Battletech, and it's like a tactics game where it was like 1930s like adventurers. We've seen that before. They just showed that. Obsidian, we talked about that. The first Descendant is like a third-person kind of online action game. It was really weird. I
think we saw the trailer for that at one point, didn't we?
Not during any of the things, but like I think we have seen a trailer for it in the past. But it's a very like. It's made by like an Asian studio it seems like an online action game where you're kind of running around fighting guys. It does look somewhat interesting, but anytime you say it's online, I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's my issue with a lot of games that I find interesting nowadays.
Hi-Fi Rush is getting an arcade update July 5th that has like some challenge modes and some skins and stuff.
That looks pretty cool.
Phasmophobia is coming to the Xbox this August. You said you were very excited about that.
Yeah, because they announced on Twitter that it's also coming to the PlayStation VR 2.
Yes.
Also, it has crossplay.
Lightyear Frontier. Oh, yeah, they showed Lightyear Frontier, which is the farming mech game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It actually looked very boring when the people were playing it, but that's just me.
It's a farming game.
There's some other stuff in here, like, oh, look, here's Exoprimal again. Like, I'm not going to...
No, let's not. We know enough about it. Dinosaurs, gun, face shot.
Yep.
The end.
Other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's worth watching if you don't got anything else to do. Put it on the background.
It's worth watching purely for Keanu Reeves'
weird interview.
Because his eyes light up when he's told he's allowed to curse.
Yep.
And it's kind of amazing.
He keeps apologizing for like I slipped into Johnny for a second there, and it's just like
it's so much fun.
Johnny Mnemonic. Okay, PC Gaming Show. I am going to come out. I'm going to go a little shade. The PC Gaming Show should not do their stupid framing device. Also, the PC Gaming Show is too damn long. It's too fucking long.
There's too many PC games out there.
That thing went on for like 2.5 hours or something.
Really?
Like it went on and on and on and on and on. Oh, here, I've got the VOD for it. 2 hours, 54 minutes. Part of this is pre-show. Yep. So about 15 minutes worth of pre-show. Yeah. So it was over 2 hours, like more like 2.5 hours. So
Jesus Christ.
By the end, I just like they were
Could've
still
just watch Spider-Verse, Jeff.
They were still showing interesting stuff. I couldn't keep paying attention to it. That's too long for one show.
No, yeah.
So we're already in double overtime. I want to go through a couple of interesting things because not everything here was interesting. And if I miss your favorite thing, it's because I think you're a bad person and you shouldn't play video games anymore. Just kidding. I don't care. I'm going to talk about the things that I watched that were interesting to me because you skipped this one entirely, right?
Yeah, I forgot it even happened.
Okay. Frostpunk 2 was announced.
Okay.
So Frostpunk being the game where you got to keep everybody alive. This one seems like you might actually have like a functional city, and then it's more like making the choices about how things go. I'm not entirely sure because it was like a little cinematic trailer that showed like a bigger city built up around the Frostpunk generator from the first game, and then like a lot of like revolution and people like fires and people running around and stuff. And there was like a little voiceover they were talking about stuff.
They clearly didn't put enough entertainment, Jeff.
Yes, that's right. I should never have told them they had to eat the dead. They always hate that shit. That's supposed to be coming out in 2024.
Turns out Soylent Green's not good for you.
Let's see. Nope. Jump Light Odyssey got a brief trailer. I'm still not entirely sure whether I want to play Jump Light Odyssey because it looks like evil genius on a spaceship.
Pretty much. I like the idea of it.
Yeah. Let's see. Ebenezer and the Invisible World. Okay, Michael, Ebenezer and the Invisible World has to be called out because it's one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen. They didn't use this. I came up with this, or I'm sure it's already said. This is a Scroogelvania. You play as Ebenezer Scrooge, and it is a 2D side-scrolling action game where Scrooge gets like powers from like all the ghosts and stuff to like help him platform, and it's literally Scrooge, and he's hitting people with his cane, and like it's a weird 2D Metroidvania game with the Scrooge.
I am so interested in this. I want to play it now.
Well, I know you like Metroidvanias, right? Like,
I love Metroidvanias, and also the whole entire concept of this is so fucking batshit insane that I have to play this.
This is fucking getting the double jump from the ghost of like trapeze past.
Oh my god!
Like, look at that part at the end where it looks like he's doing like a downward stomp maneuver with the ghost of Tiny Tim next to him.
Oh
or
my
something.
god! This is so fucking cool. I love this.
So yeah, Ebenezer and the Invisible World. What a fucking crazy! How crazy
Jesus
is that?
Christ, this is the craziest thing I've seen somebody do with that idea of Ebenezer Scrooge in a long time.
Yeah, like
oh my God,
who has come up with this and who allowed it to happen in the world? Like,
I love you, whoever you are. Thank you for doing such a crazy thing.
Dorf D.O.R.F is basically just old Command and Conquer. Like, it literally looks like old Command and Conquer. It's a third-person action game, and it looks like the old, like, low-res, turning the sprite around by, like, rendering it at different angles, Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
Everything about it looks like old-ass CNC or like Red Alert 1 or something.
It's pretty fun, actually.
And it looks pretty cool. I don't think this is the same one, though, there was another one of these that I was calling out, and I don't think this is the same one.
I don't think so. I feel like we know about the other one.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blue, blah, 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 blah. Nope. There's Lords of the Fallen. That's fine. Mariachi Legends.
I heard about this one, actually. I didn't see anything on it, though.
Mariachi Legends is like a pixel-based side-scroller where you play as a detective that like sells his soul to the devil or something and then becomes like this mariachi demon, and it's being made by like a studio in Guadalajara, and it's got all this like Dia de los Muertos like imagery to it, and it looks, let's see if I can find some gameplay. Did I pass it? Was it a montage? Might have been a montage. Returns from like the regular guy into this La Sombra that looks like very...
It looks fucking cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Also, it looks like it would have been an outfit in Revengeance.
And like all the side-scrolling stuff looks very nice. Like all the pixel art looks very nice. And then you see that's like, kind of action Metroidvania with like blood and guts and mariachis. And I'm like, yes.
No,
all of that, please.
I'm completely on board with this. Please make it an Ebenezer crossover eventually.
Make Ebenezer DLC for Mariachi Legends.
I want that. I don't know why, but I want it. Just put Ebenezer in all of them like that.
We did see very briefly. I don't know. I don't think you and I talked about this because I think I made Amanda talk about skulls. God damn it! I fucking hate PC Gamer. The company that put on this thing,
they use their actual like player, right?
They embedded their player into the website, and their player, like every fifth video that you play, makes you watch a dumb ad before you can watch the video. And I'm just like, you sons of bitches! Like you've literally got all these on your website. In fact, I should
adorable doggy.
Pull up their YouTube channel. I bet I can find each one of these trailers individually. I buy YouTube Red, you sons of bitches. I don't want to watch stuff anymore.
Great. I'm a big fan of it.
Age of Sigmar is one of the new Warhammer things. This is the one that's like an RTS, but it's also on console, and it looks like a small tactics thing. I think Age of Sigmar is like different than the standard old Warhammer 40K universe. I don't know if it's later or something, but this looks pretty cool. You're playing this with these, it seems like smaller squads, and then it's an RTS, but it's also very much going to be on console. So it's like,
oh, okay.
I think it's like Halo Wars. Think Halo Wars, but with Warhammer guys.
That's a fun idea.
And it looks really cool. Like,
yeah, they're actually a lot more detailed than I expected.
Yeah, like you could zoom all up in on them, and they look pretty cool. So yeah, not too bad, not too shabs. Citizen Sleeper 2 was announced. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. I have still not gotten around to playing Citizen Sleeper, but as I understand it, it is absolutely fantastic. The first game, this one seems like the first game you're stuck on a space station that was like abandoned by a corporation. You're trying to survive.
Yeah.
And this one you seem like a sleeper, which is like this kind of like an android that is like slowly breaking down, that is kind of like cut loose from the corporation. And it seems like you're more on a ship. The trailer is all dialogue. So
yeah.
Michael is, I'm afraid, not getting too much out of it.
I don't know what's happening.
But
is he offering him drugs? I don't know.
Part of the thing is that the sleepers need this like fluid to keep operating, and so part of that first game is like figuring out how to get a steady supply of it so you don't get a game over. And it seems like this is kind of corpo guy is like offering you this stuff. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Again, I didn't finish this in Sleeper 1, but it's kind of cool that they're coming out with the second one so soon. and it seems like it might be more of like a space, like going between places in space kind of adventure as opposed to stuck on the one area. So yeah, good stuff. Nope. Michael, I don't know if you heard about Hidden Door.
No, what is that?
Okay, let me see if I can find these trailers on these. Yeah. These are all on here, aren't they? So Hidden Door is definitely going to be where is it?
Wait, no, that just says interview.
There we go. This I believe is the thing.
Is that the actual video?
Yeah. So Hidden Door is an AI story game where you basically like pick environments and characters, and you get like these cards that then load up into this like generative AI that then tells you a text adventure, and you just kind of type in like what you want to do, and then it generates responses. But it's based on like very specific things. They have like genres. They're obviously using some public domain stuff. So like one of them is like The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
And then it just loads all the rules for The Wizard of Oz. And it's got a very like rudimentary kind of art system that comes with the choices that you try to make in the game. But it seems like what they're trying to do is, again, I've been waiting for a game that was like, well, we're going to try to build this from the ground up to work with generative AI.
Yeah.
And they kind of also talk about how like you could kind of teach the AI, like there's some generic kind of horror, and there's some fantasy stuff that you can kind of teach the AI, like you can customize like your sci-fi world. So it's Star Wars, like, but you did it, like you made your Star Wars. So
okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah. I'm sure that this is going to be like, I'm sure that there are a lot of angry people about this. I personally am interested in seeing if AI can be made into. So the thing is that if I play this game and I can't tell the difference between if this was like a text adventure game, like, or if it gets tripped up of being a generative AI, that's the real question. So, but it's very weird.
This is like one of the few times I think like this is the actual. It makes sense why the AI is being used. Right. Whereas when I see other games, are like, AI will just make things for you, and then it's like that's not how that part works.
You guys didn't watch Volve-E, did you? You didn't learn lessons of Volve-E.
No, they did not. This giant hand.
Dread Pilots you can fuck off with your fucking ad for dog food again. Okay, great. I've broken it. Is the latest Clay game. Latest game from Clay.
Okay.
They made Invisible Ink and. I see that your video player also sucks nuts, PC gamer.
It's playing another video.
Fuck you.
You have to pause the other one.
No, I don't want to. Well, I can't. It's in the middle of an ad. Is this in order? Can I just do this? Yes. Okay, there's Dread Pilots. Dread Pilots is the latest game from Clay. Griftlands, Don't Starve, all that stuff. It looks a lot like Heat Signature, which makes me giddy and excited.
Yeah, it does actually.
Because it's like kind of a top-down space adventure game. There's not a shitload to it, but it's using definitely that very Clay art style. It seems like the primary thing is kind of driving these ships around and going to various places and doing stuff. Yeah, seems cool. I really want to play it. Like a space pickup truck. You're just driving it around. So.
Yeah, the art design is always really fun.
Yep. There's definitely like some kind of combat and stuff. So, yep. Let's see. From there, what do we got? Nope. No. But some of this stuff is stuff that we've seen before. Some of it is uninteresting to me.
Which one was that? The 30XX? That one I feel like I've heard of.
30XX? That's like a
I saw a trailer for that.
It's like Mega Man.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
It just looks like Mega Man straight up. Like they didn't even try to make it the design slightly different.
Well, there was a 20XX, right? It was a game that's already out, and it's like it's basically just like one of those like, well then fuck you, I'll make my own Mega Man with blackjack and hookers. But this one's a roguelike.
Oh, okay.
Roguelite. So basically you can kind of go through and play it infinitely, which I think that actually roguelike like generation for 2D stuff has been working out really well recently.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does it great that way.
So I don't know. Maybe this is right. This one's right up your alley. Maybe
I think it is. Also, it says there's a level editor, so that's kind of fun.
Yep. coming out on August 9th. They also showed, I saw it briefly, and then, God, why do they put this thing on here that makes everything look exactly the same? There was a trailer for Shadow Gambit, the Curse Crew, which is the one from the Desperados.
Oh.
And
I remember. Yeah, I remember when they announced this.
Yeah, from the Shadow Tactics and Desperados. Me. There's a company out there called Lulu.
Really?
That's making a different game that was in this one of these showcases, and then this company is me, and I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out, like, okay, was Lulu made from like ex me employees who like went somewhere? Just like,
to see if they
are
used
they
that
in the
idea?
same country? Like, no, they're not in the same country. I'm like, what? They got to be related. Like,
They just had that idea.
Yeah,
Same idea.
I can't wait for this shit. The fucking Ghost pirate thing is, I love Ghost Pirates, and I love their overall aesthetic. So let's see, blah 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 boop. Baldur's Gate 3. There was a Baldur's Gate 3 animated short that happened that was kind of fun. I'll just let everybody go look at that themselves. Nope. That one sucked. It just went on. My Friendly Neighborhood got a release date. For those of you who don't remember, My Friendly Neighborhood was the Sesame Street horror game that Tessa and I played the demo for, where it's a bunch of Muppets fucking Five Nights at Freddying at you, and you've got to like shoot them with like typewriter guns that hit them with the letter A.
Yeah. And it's fucking crazy as shit looking.
Yeah, I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
You get a wrench now.
I can't wait to whoop up on some fucking cracked out Muppets and figure out, like, this is the kind of Five Nights at Freddy's that I'm in for, baby. Also, they give you a gun. So, and it's something like the studio that's been shut down for years comes back to life, and then they send you in to like figure out what's happening there. And it looks delightfully demented, and I want to play it. And it comes out on July 18th.
It's that horror, or turning something innocent horror that I like.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try that in movies and they don't make it work out very well.
Yep. Breath Edge 2 got announced. You remember Breath Edge was the one where you were in the wrecked ship, like the ship blew up, and then you had to like go find air and then bring it back a little bit at a time.
Generally don't remember that.
Okay. We might not have played it. I might be confusing it. But like in the previous one, the whole plot of it was this weird, it's kind of a comedy, but like you were on a spaceship, the spaceship blew up, and you were in like a very small place and managed to get to a spacesuit, and so then you had to like go out and like get air and bring it back, and like you were trying to get resources to build like a radio and like a jetpack that would get you further. It was like Subnautica but in space, where like your air was really limited, and you were trying to get more air to be able to stay out for longer. The trailer for this shows the main character trying desperately to put a wheel back on his car, and he drops like this tank into this like big volcanic vent, and then he goes to drive back to his ship, and the wheel on his car immediately comes right back off again. There's a lady this time that is part of your crew, and then they get back to the ship and take off, and they fly away from the planet, and I don't know if it's supposed to be because he dropped that container, but there's like a giant magma crack that eventually just blows the entire planet up.
Yeah, she's face palming because of it.
Yeah, this game has also has a bunch of chickens that you can do horrible things to that I love. So
I love the stupid smile on his face.
Yeah, the first one's pretty fun. I want to play the second one, so I don't know if the lady just doesn't have a face, because in the trailer you see her from behind, you see her with her hand over her face shaking it, and then here in the trailer for it she's turned around backwards. But
I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah. So I like the idea that it's Breath Edge 2, but you're going to other planets is the big thing this year, like between Starfield and Jedi or Star Wars. And
space is the new fantasy.
Yep. And that's kind of it. There was there's a game called Sand that
Anakin's least favorite game.
They didn't really show anything. They showed Dune Awakening, which was that Dune MMO.
I forgot that was happening.
That is happening, and it really crystallized to me that like I don't want to play the thing that makes Dune interesting are the character stories.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, you can you start out as a lone Fremen, and then you can create a siege, and you can get people, and then you can eventually go out there and you can raid other settlements and fight the worms or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't care about Paul Muad'Dib, not random Fremen guy. I don't want to be the random I want to be the fucking Kwisatz Haderach. How high of a level do I have to be to drink the water of life and look inside where the Bene Gesserit cannot go? Can I put the sand trout on my skin? If I drink enough of the water of life, can I become the God Emperor and rule for 3,000 years? Well, if not, then I'm not fucking interested. So yeah,
there's so many words that I understood none of it.
Yeah,
none of it.
This is why I don't like the new Dune movie, because I'm one of those. I kind
of love it though, because when he gets into it, it gets pretty fucking interesting.
I didn't even get into fucking Chapter House and the Honored Matres. Don't get me wrong about that.
He's getting very heated today.
Yeah,
between sandwiches and fucking Avatar.
I don't like Avatar. I want to talk about one last thing before we wrap up. There was an interesting thing that happened. One of the things that happened around this time was there was a significant amount of Armored Core 6 footage that was released to a bunch of YouTubers. Specifically, Vati Vidya did a very big in-depth analysis about what was happening in the footage. Also, I gotta say, Vati Vidya did a an hour and 40-minute video where that crazy motherfucker played every single Armored Core game from start to finish.
Oh my god.
All of them. Not just the main core ones, but then the spin-off ones as well.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah.
Those games are long, guys. Yeah. There's a lot of just editing of robots.
And boring.
Yeah. As much as I love Armored Core, those games can get very boring if you're not careful.
That
sounds weird, but yeah, that's true. That's the truth.
So we're almost done here, so I'm not gonna go into it too much, but he basically breaks down kind of some of the mechanics from this. I think it's actually really good if you're interested in Armored Core 6 to go to Vati's channel and watch first the breakdown of the old games and then the description of the new one. This motherfucker is so into this shit that he they showed this footage. They gave him this footage that we're watching right now, and there's a part where he stops it and he redraws the HUD that was not given to him with the footage to then explain what all is on the HUD.
That's fascinating.
And it seems like the big thing here is that it has a lock-on function now, like Souls does, as opposed to previous Armored Cores where you just had to aim in a direction.
Yeah, which was both fun and terrible at the same time.
Yeah. And then I also watched a YouTuber who was me oh, my hype's dead. Fuck it. It's gross. It's not even an Armored Core game anymore. Fuck it. And it's just
there's always that guy.
Do you guys not look at the sales numbers of the Souls game and then compare them to the sales? I get the Armored Core kept From Software afloat for quite a while until Souls happened, but
it's the Monster Hunter thing.
Yeah.
When Monster Hunter World came out, and then I explained to you things I had to do in old Monster Hunter, and you looked at me like I shot somebody.
Yeah, because who would want to play that fucking game?
Exactly, and that's what Armored Core. That's how Armored Core is. I bet you that's exactly what's going to happen between Armored Core 6 and everything beforehand.
And yeah, that was it. Okay. Woo! It wasn't a full hour. It's only 45 minutes.
No.
Fuck.
We did it, guys.
All right, Michael.
We saved Avatar or whatever.
If they've gotten all the way to the end, why don't you tell them where they can find you when you're not over here going through the fucking... It's only once a year, though. It's only once a year.
Yeah. You can find me at BellLostSouls.net. I do a lot of their video game articles. I do the majority of their video game articles every Monday through Friday.
Yep.
You can also sometimes find me on oneofus.net, where I sometimes do reviews.
There you go. And you already know where to find me because you're already here. There wouldn't be any way that you could be finding this, I guess, unless you clicked on a random YouTube channel and then listened to us ramble in front of a picture, a static image for 2 hours and 45 goddamn minutes.
You need to visit Pandora.
No, I'll never do it. I gotta go. I don't want to do it. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Bye.